よし。リモルさんこんばんは。板豆さんこんばんは。いらっしゃい。これかな。よし。よし、いいんじゃないでしょうか。よいしょ。東南アジアってどこだ？あれ、ツイートしたっけ？これはツイートしてないな。まだか。よし。よし、ありがとう。今日は誰か来るんですか？誰か聞いてる人。あじゅんさん来る？よし。あじゅんさんが来てくれる今日。で、他の方々は。なるほどね。なんかご飯でも食べとるんかな。監視しとこついと。スパさん 短い。短い。なるほどね。二次会もあるんですね、こちらは。3次会まであるの主人なくなっちゃうよ、それ。朝までコースじゃん、それ。いや、でも一人称は違います。さすがに違う。なんだろうね。ゲームだとさ、初めましての人とやるときさ、わかんないんだよね、ホバチは。だから、ホバチっていうようにしてるゲームは、基本ずっと自分のプレイヤーネームを呼ぶようにしてる。初めましての人と、私下行くってなっても、この人誰だっけってなるからさ、わかんないんだよね。はい。ホバチはホバチっていう自分でそういうのはそういう理由があります。特にねかな。ゆりさんどうもいらっしゃい。そう、すごい一回それをしてもらってね、分かりやすかったんだよね。真似しようと思ってやりました。まあ、あんまりそれが好きじゃない人もいるだろうが、分かりやすいからね。ニキさんいらっしゃい。まあ、俺が本当のポムさんいらっしゃい。どうも。おやじさん喋り方かわいいね。チームメイトのスーパーセルさんという方が全てが可愛いので、お願いします。応援してください。田島さん、SK アイさんいらっしゃい。こんばんは。でも、小鉢の T2 のシャールインさんです。ごめんね。小鉢はルインさん推し。原田さんもいいんだよな。どうもどうも。朝いらっしゃい。結局みんないいっていう結論にはなるんだが、まあ、決めるんだったらルインさん推しです。 東南アジア、今日 Day3 だよね。合ってるこれ。合ってるね。よし。テロビビさんいらっしゃい、こんばんは。これ大丈夫？画面暗いとか、音でかいとかあったら教えてください。一番最初の配信、超暗かったらしいから。ゆうさん、おはよういらっしゃい。なんか画面設定の目に優しいモードっていうのをつけてた方じゃ、それで多分暗かったんよ。あ、待ってね。いつもね、やり忘れるこれ。画質上げるやつ。自動だからさ、マックスにしたろ。ごめんよ。今日は言われる前に気づいた。あ、ここか。MYS とかが。マジインドリーグしかやってないから、わからんな、ここ。しかも先週休みだったし。あ、でもこの人覚えてる。左のパジャマみたいな人。
And Contra, why are we only on week 3 for Southeast Asia?
Well, because of course we have the festivities that were happening last week because of Chinese New Year. We give everybody a little bit of time to, of course, spend it with their family and loved ones. And now we're back on track, and we're gonna have a whole lot of amazing Pokemon Unite action. And if you guys may feel like you're missing out, and if you're
パジャマみたいなお洋服、可愛いお洋服を着てるのは覚えてるこれ。
every details necessary for the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League, where you have Southeast Asia, East Asia, as well as India, all included on board, where you can basically find all the stats for your favorite players and also the type of Pokemon that they play and everything else about the tournament.
Yeah, so make sure you have this bookmark because it's basically going to be your guidebook for the entirety of the tournament. It's not just going to be limited to the first phase of the competition. Now, I just want to remind our wonderful viewers, if you are joining us on Twitch, we do have a giveaway that is still currently ongoing, and it's not just your usual giveaway either. So to register for our Twitch campaign, all you have to do is register on Stream Elements with your Twitch account, and once you've registered, you're going to start collecting points as you watch the broadcast. And yes, you must watch the broadcasts to get those points. That includes East Asia, Southeast Asia, India, any of the broadcasts, you'll be able to pick up points.
東南アジアもキーホルダーとかだわ。
to redeem those points for some amazing prizes which you currently see on the screen right now. So we've got some amazing folders, Pikachu keychains. We also have some cards and the card tins.
We
did show this yesterday, but if you weren't here yesterday, we have our prizes here with us right now. I'm going to physically show them to you so that it's not a scam. It is a real giveaway. And I think we're going to zoom in on this in just a second. So we've got the card tins here with Contra. He's going to be spinning that for us. But I want to give the proper spiel for this because I think yesterday we didn't explain what comes with the tins. So along with the tins, you are also going to get 3 TCG booster packs and a Pokemon coin as well. So if you get this 3 TCG booster packs and a Pokemon coin, if you don't play TCG, it's fine. You can use the tin, right? These tins look great. They've got different Pokemon on all of the edges. So if there's one that you like, then of course you're going to aim for the tin that you're looking for. So from my understanding, we have the fighting tin, the fire tin, and the darkness tin. So if there's something that you like, then yeah, try and get the tin that you're
ク
looking
ッ
for.
キ
Contra,
ーね
what
クッ
else
キー入ってそうこ
We
れ
still have a whole lot more boosted packs as well. This one comes with the Galarian Moltres Articuno as well as Zapdos. And you can see 2 packs on board. And we have Surfetch coin.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. Like,
the wonderful Surfetch.
yeah. So all of this are also foiled. So I'm pretty sure that you want to add this to your collection. And if you haven't already, let me entice you even more with all the folders that we have.
おクリアファイル
Give me one.
すごい絵柄変わる
This is so cool.
Right, so we've got these amazing
え
folders.
今のクリアファイルって絵柄が変わるん
Angle, you're going to be able to get them to shift. So amazing shifting folders. We've got the hollow
スキンが変わりますなんと
standard Pokemon images. So Wigglytuff, Lucario, and then we have Cinderace over there, which has the, if anyone remembers, the first Battle Pass Hollowware to ever exist in the game.
That's right. And with all the other Pokemons as well, like Pikachu and also Snorlax.
いいよいいよ
And Zeraora, we also have Zeraora as well. So we've got a couple variations for these folders. So
なんか学校持ってきこ
if you
れ
want to try and win one of these, it's completely free to register. Make sure you go onto Twitch, watch with your Twitch account, and sign up on its Stream Elements to start getting those points because every single broadcast matters, and especially I think if people are aiming for the tins, because I'm very sure this is like the grand prize for some people.
That's true, and not forgetting there's also the Pikachu keychains. We may not have it on.
日本はゲーム内でエオスコインとかしかもらえないよ
You
ね
guys would have your fair chance to
なんでだ
reap the rewards by just watching the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. So, of course, we're also in for a lot of all these exciting games happening today, and we have some pretty stacked teams going up against each other. So, I'm looking forward to our very first game.
Yeah, I think everyone's looking forward to what's going to happen in Southeast Asia. I mean, Contra, we've seen Southeast Asia, we've seen East Asia, and I know I've been keeping
Ah.
up with India.
クリアファイルいいよ
So
ね
with the regions so far, they definitely have like their own meta
スキン
and
変わる
styles that tend to happen.
すごく
And
な
I
い
feel like in
どうなっとん今の
Southeast
クリアファイ
Asia,
ル
teams are just so aggressive.
That's right, and like you would expect a lot of very early game type of playstyle. Like in our very first week itself, like we see so many Dodgers. I feel like things have changed as well, so we'll have to keep with the times.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on us keeping up with the times, it's the teams, right?
The team, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, as we move along in the broadcast here, we're just going to very quickly show you some of our streamers that are actually watching the stream with us right now. So, if you're wondering, if you haven't seen some of these streamers, they're co-streaming the stream, and if you would like, you can actually join their stream and you'll be able to still see it, the exact same broadcast, but with our amazing influencers. So we've got Master Ramen, we've got Skywee, and we have Ellie Gaming
かっ
as
こ
well.
い
If you
い
haven't already, do check their streams out. I know that they're all amazing personalities and influencers within their specific regions. I personally know Master Ramen. He's a really, really fun guy.
Yeah, I would say the same about Skywee.
小鉢もかっこいい宣伝写真欲しいな
Quite the personality, so.
マスターラーメン
If you guys have already followed them, you definitely want to
ラーメンマスターいた今
Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League all together while just basically having a fun time chatting with your favorite people.
Yeah.
So, of course, with that being said, let's also talk about the teams that have qualified as well.
Yes.
So, these are the teams that are participating here in the Asia Champions League Southeast Asia.
Yeah, so for anyone that's curious for how the teams qualified, Team MYS, they came in from the Malaysia
Ita?
Open 2022. They are the champions of Malaysia. We have Secret Rare that came in from the Philippine Open 2022. They were the second place team. We have Rise coming in from the Indonesia Open. And if you
Thailand
haven't
Open.
remembered, yep, Thailand Open for Escape 5. And then, of course, if you followed the official circuit last year, then you're going to know who Renaissance is. Renaissance was the team that represented APAC, or the Asia Pacific region, last year at the Pokemon Unite World Championships in London. So these are the teams that made it to the tournament. And then, of course, these are the reasons on why they got invited to the tournament as well. They made it through their particular qualifications. If I
おひげの下マスターラーメン
That's right, and then with so many stacked teams here on Southeast Asia, like we're starting to see a little bit more of a power ranking situation.
Yeah, we
so,
are.
of course, before we even get to the standings itself, let's also talk about all the other qualified teams from East Asia. We had some of their action happening yesterday that involved Eternity, High Five, No Show, as well as
Secret Ship and T2, yeah.
Yeah. And
All right.
not forgetting, the India region that consists of God's Reign, Marcus Gaming, Revenant Esports, Seoul, as well as Two Rivers. So if you guys are looking forward to that, tomorrow all the games will be played for the Asia Champions League India.
Yeah, exact same stream. For all of these matches, they're going to happen on the exact same stream. So if you want to be notified for the next broadcast, make sure you're following us on either YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, whatever platform.
チームしか分からん。
Make sure you got the notification bell so that it lets you know.
MIS とエスケープ5は結構スクリームをしてる記憶はあるが、あんま覚えてないや。
So today we're going to be jumping into Escape 5 versus MYS for our first best of 3 of the day, and then we're going to end with Rise going up against Renaissance. Now I am a little bit excited for that Rise Renaissance matchup because we did see Rise do rather well.
Yeah, like overall they have been showing up really well with the past performances that they had.
They had I don't know how to describe it. They had a heck of a series against MYS.
Yes.
Full best of 3. It was super close. I love that series. I'm really keen to see how well they do up against someone like Renaissance.
Exactly, and I feel like this is where they will be able to at least gauge how the competition is like, because after only 2 weeks of play, they might have actually still had a little bit more time to figure out what really works well for them. Meanwhile, for Escape 5 themselves, I feel like they are still trying to see what really fits them, because like with them adapting to the pace of teams like MYS as well as Renaissance, then I feel like there's still more adjustments for them to do. So this will be the matchups for today, and if you're looking forward to more of these games, make sure you keep your calendars all marked up, and you always go to the website to refer for more.
Yeah, now here's the tournaments format for anyone that may be a little bit confused. We are still currently in the first stage where all 15 teams were split into their 3 segregated regions. Now what happens is these 5 teams are going to play against each other to lock in points. Now depending on the number of points you get, you're going to be seeded for the second phase. The highest point team will get first seed, and then it'll go down the ladder. Pretty simple. Now the thing is, the top 2 teams from the second stage will then automatically qualify for the LAN final that's going to be happening right here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It's happening next month in March. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But of course, we have to find out who's going to be our top 2 from each region.
And when they do secure themselves the top 2 and even beyond, they'll be
ゆっくりしながら見よう。
a lot of prize money on the line. If they make it to stage 2, they'll be rewarded with $5,000 on first place, $2,500 on second, and $1,000 for third placement. But going to the finals means a whole
賞金のことはわかる。 賞金はね、みんな二次会だよ。小鉢さんはお留守番です。
Yeah, well, actually, if you think about it, right, like these teams are also basically auto-qualified to get 1,005 as well, just for qualifying on top of what they got for that second phase. So, lots of money on the line for these teams. Very quickly, though, we're going to skim through the rules. We're going to play a normal match of Pokemon Unite as usual. We've got the 10-minute match frame. The series are going to be played in best of 3s. It's 5v5 customs, but we are going to be doing it with the new draft mode that was introduced at the
ポンポムさんいらっしゃい、こんばんは。
Of course, we're going to be playing on Thea Sky Ruins, so say hello to Rayquaza. We've been seeing a lot of him recently, and I do need to remind everybody there are no limits on items, no level limits, and we are going to be allowing medals. Okay, I think this is the first time we've seen an official circuit tournament that's allowed medals to begin with. So, of course, you've got extra complexity on top of not just what Pokemon you're picking, not what items you're running, but also secretly what medals are you going to be using.
And I really like it that all these players are flexible to customize according to the needs of their respective Pokemons that they will be playing. And on top of that, of course, we introduced draft mode in this tournament itself, where each respective team will be able to select one Pokemon to be banned out. And the first team will have that priority on the first pick of the Pokemon of their choice, followed by the second team with a double priority on their first pick. So that runs all the way through until they're settled, and then there goes the preparation phase where they can basically swap with their teammates to give them
the appropriate Pokemon.
わかりやすくこの
Yeah, so whatever Pokemon you see currently drafted, if your favorite player is suddenly playing a support and
う
then
と
only central lane,
ドラッグ
don't
あれこれ
panic, we're going to probably
一
see
緒だ
the
っけ
changes in preparation. Or they could be doing some crazy stuff, because I think we have seen some teams go for particular drafts and you would expect them to play X Pokemon, and then all of a sudden it's this other Pokemon going up to top lane, or this other Pokemon that's playing in the central area. So this is what I really love about draft mode. The fact that now you're going to be able to see what everyone's playing, you can try and adapt to your opponents, and let's not forget as well, there are no dupes. There's only one Pokemon on the field. You can only have one Absol, one Charizard. But I do believe we're going to head on through this broadcast. The match is about to begin, but before that, here's a quick highlight on our previous matches.
右側の女性ちょっと調整に似てない？似てた？すごい、この試合すごかったんだよな、ハイファイブ。で、ルインさん、来た。はいドーン。โดโดริโอよくぞ取ったルイン、ありがとう。お、どかどかパンチ。マミーさんいらっしゃい、こんばんは。 MYS 全紹介今んとこ。
A risky move coming through. He even used his Unite to run away from the Pokemon, then he will be able to run away barely. But in the meantime,
Delphox isn't here. He's going to be slow, and Ribombs, he gets taken out. Mew about to get taken out as well. Will be using his boosted attack. He will go down though to Necro, and look at this, the Scyther cutting through Yang as well.
マリルリはね、インドですね。マリ来るかな。
We hope you enjoyed those amazing clips. If you do have the time though, we do suggest going back to those previous weeks of matches. We had some really exciting ones in the previous weeks. I think to this day, my favorite still has to be that wacky draft from High Five.
Yeah, I think nothing matches that.
Okay, wait, we have to explain. For anyone that doesn't or didn't watch East Asia, I think it was week 2 of East Asia, we had some crazy business where High Five went with no defender, and they picked Garchomp, Delphox, and Mew. And then I think they had, I forgot what support it was. It's just they had other Pokemon. They had a support, and I think maybe it was 2 supports or an all-rounder. I don't 100% remember, but it was just that composition with no defender. I was like, yo.
It really shows that there's so many options on the table on how you want to play out the game as a team, and Hi-Fi is definitely one to demonstrate the strength and power. And now, of course, focusing back on what we do have for the Asia Champions League Southeast Asia, we will start off today with
ルネッサンス。これルネッサンスって呼ぶのこれ。
By that, it's going to be the Indonesia Open champions Rise to take on Renaissance from the WCS. And on next week, we'll have Rise versus SK5, the Secret Rare versus Renaissance.
Yeah, but my eyes are set on that last game on day 5. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, it is Team MYS going up against Renaissance, but of course, like, we can't forget about Rise and Secret Rare. I think that's going to be a very important series as well. But the reason why I want to emphasize that last one is I think these are currently our top two dogs in the tournament. And I think it's going to make a big statement on whoever manages to win that series. But of course, that's going to be 3 weeks away, so let's
Renaissance
focus on today's matchup. So,
聞いたことある
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I mean, when we look at the power rankings, MYS is currently sitting on top of the table at #1 rank. But if you look at their track record so far, the matches against Secret Rare as well as Rise, they came in with a 2-1 result. So I won't say that they had the cleanest record as compared to teams like Renaissance, who have only played 1 match so far, and they still have time to actually keep up to the pace of MYS.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of need to explain as well the emphasis on Renaissance, because like I'm not gonna come in here and just say like, oh, this team is good, but not justify it. The reason why I'm talking quite a lot about Renaissance is that this is a team with a proven track record, or at least they have 3 players on their roster with a proven track record. So of course there's going to be expectations for Renaissance to do well, and yeah, they've only played 1 game. So if you're wondering like why they're under MYS, they've only played 1 game. You can't get more than 3 points. So this week is going to be a pretty interesting one to see if Renaissance can
W CS 出てた
3 points, because I think that's the expected
神
result.
る
But if they drop their series, that would be a pretty
全
big
然
shocker.
海外
Yeah,
の
and, like, I'm looking at
状況が分かってない
SK5
子たちは
as well. We have them playing quite a number of matches already, and they still have very much a huge chance to also keep up to the pace of both MYS as well as Renaissance. They are going to be one of the teams that can actually prove to be quite the competitor, alongside with
Yeah.
Rise, who've only played 1 set of games.
Right, also something I kind of forgot to mention here, right? It's MYS going up against Escape 5. Escape 5 played against Renaissance in Renaissance's debut match for the tournament.
そうそうそうそうそう
And, they lost that
砂が上手な人
2-0.
全然
So
捕まら
going
んのよ
up
あの
against
砂
MYS, now that's when you're going to have to question Escape 5, like, is it possible for them to win this series? They beat Secret Rare, but I think MYS is just, they're definitely a step above.
Yeah, and just looking at MYS, sure, they may not have looked to have the cleanest record. Maybe if SK5 look to leverage on that, at least squeezing 1 point throughout this segment will definitely
MIS には元レネサンス
opportunity for them to still get themselves into at least top.
始まるまで分からんな何も
Exactly. So I think there's a lot on the line here for this first upcoming matchup for today. Can Escape 5 get these 3 points from MYS, or is it just going to be another 3 points that's going to rocket them further up that leaderboard? Because now MYS are sitting on 6 points. A win here will put them up to 9 points, way ahead of the competition, right?
And with that, I believe that 9 points is enough for you to secure pole position onto the
MYS
black
全勝です
itself.
I would say second seed would be guaranteed at that
Yeah.
point. Not first seed, because of course I think we still have Renaissance that could potentially contest that, right? Because that would be the final determining series of the entire tournament. You can see on the bottom, right? There's Renaissance technically it's day 5, but it's week 5. I just cannot wait for that matchup. But this is MYS's final game before that game deciding series.
That's right, and let's also check out the head-to-head right now, where we'll have all the players on board to play between both MYS and Escape 5. So I guess I'll start off on the Escape 5 side, where we see
Rocky.
Winnie as well as Moonkrop being some of the key players of the team, where Moonkrop definitely had been able to show strength, especially when they do have a huge amount of priority around that central area.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm wondering if you're MYS, like, do you kind of pick up on that, you know, and you have to start pressuring in the early game? Because that's something that MYS has done recently, right? They're very good at that early game pressure with the early game rotations, and it also depends on what central area Pokemon that they pick on, right? But MYS, you've got Yang, Nightmare, Foxy, Froggy, Yamu, Rebongs. I think we're going to also take a look at these players in depth as well in a moment. Okay, we're going to take a look at Froggy, apparently. So let's see and learn a little bit more about this wonderful player. So if anyone doesn't know Froggy, he is the dedicated Mr. Mime player on the side of MYS.
いやだからトバリやろウォッチングアニメ
This is probably one of the players you want to look at.
超シンプルや
Essentially mastered the art of Mr. Mime, but he also likes to play Slowbro, and you know, he does what all of us do best: watch anime.
Yeah, like two of these Pokemon is as animated as it gets, right? The way that they behave. And
Actually,
like,
wait. Look at their eyes. Like, they have the exact same eyes as well.
almost the exact same eyes, I would say. Like,
And they smile too.
they're both in pink.
They're matching Pokemon.
It looks like he does have a type.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. All right, and we're going to take a look at Jazz on the side.
バリアードも人気。
Five. Now, he also plays Mr. Mime, but this time instead of
My
Slowbro,
good
we're gonna be
luck.
seeing Snorlax as one of his most favorite Pokemon to play.
ミール
And,
is
for his
オメ
trivia,
オメレッ
his
ト
good luck meal is a omelet, and he likes
オムレット
reading novels.
Huh, good luck meal. I hope he does have quite a number of
Novel.
omelets
Hey,
today.
I'm very sure he had one right before this match.
Probably. And I have something in common with him because I love eggs and I
オムレッ
absolutely
ト
love omelets. Novels,
Cheese
well,
omelets or plain omelets?
cheese.
Cheese. I think cheese makes
Sometimes
everything
even with
better.
onions.
I thought onions were a given in omelets.
True.
I don't know. Oh, but you know what the really nice
卵
I forgot what they're called in Japan.
卵の話はするな
It's the one where you slice
卵の話はダメで
the
す
omri rice, the one where you get like a little packet of omelet. It's a little round packet. You put it on your rice, you slice it open, and it just falls like a all over the rice.
It's just a beautiful sight, and I mean, like, you just.
卵はダメだよ
I mean, enough about food, you know, like that's making me very, very hungry. But of course, we'll be getting ourselves ready for our very first match. So the drafts will be set, and this is MYS versus Escape 5. So
オ
starting
ムレ
with
ッツ
the
か
side,
オムレッツって卵なの
What's the approach here? Is there going to be anything specific that they really want to remove on the
勝
table?
負飯
Sableye. I'm just gonna say it. I think it's Sableye. I think for some of these teams, it's like almost a 99% ban. And yes, MYS, they don't want to deal with Sableye. But Escape 5, they're going to be banning away Night Mew Foxy's Mew. Now, this is a Pokemon that we always see being picked up on the side of MYS if they're given a chance. And rightfully so, Night Mew plays, as his name implies, a really
じゃあ南ミュウがバン
Yeah, and I believe that
Strike.
definitely going to be quite the threat towards Escape
ブーラウスも空いてます
where they are looking for those big team fights, and Mew can be very disruptive. There was that
Yes.
one example of an East Asia match just about yesterday where just the Mew
Hello,
having
Q,
that
variado.
challenge through the right areas gives you enough vision. Now, are we looking at both the Scissor as well as Absol in the same team? Because just before this, we were just talking about it, where both will
Having
essentially
both
have the
together.
same thing to do in the matchup, and it's like, okay, I will not pass on that Urshifu.
Look, Urshifu, I feel like it's too good of a resource to pass up, and to take it yourself, I mean, you've still got 2 more picks after this, so whatever you need to fill in will be fine. But I think at this
ウーラ
point,
ス開けた
you
ね
assume for MYS that it's likely going to be Cypher. I just don't see Scizor being picked up.
バンギここでもバンギを
Now, here's something interesting. We've seen MYS pick up the Tyranitar for themselves, and it felt like a solution to certain Pokemon, especially melee Pokemon, right?
で
Because
バンギ
Tyranitar,
を
he's got that
止める
triple
ために
damage that
ヤードラ
comes
ン
with shielding. It can be annoying for Blissey because Safeguard isn't going to be as useful when it comes to damage mitigation. But it looks like Froggy is going to be picking up
バンギを見ても
We saw this Pokemon
ガルドを取
very
る
successful in East Asia, practically
バンギにはねシールドと防御を貫通するからガルドって嫌なんだけど取るんか
Especially up against Tyranitar, I feel, because that's going to lower its attack.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're looking at Escape 5, just having this mindset of absolutely counterplaying MYS in terms of what they have drafted so far. Of course, you want to play around that Tyranitar, but the presence of this
で序盤を支えるドードリオ
it's
ガルドだからね
with the gravity well being put out, and then like you have Moocrop that has been able to play a magnificent Dodrio throughout the past couple of series that he played out. So
ヤドランとハピナスいるから大丈夫って考えなのかな
Yeah, I think so as well.
危ない危
Although
ない
I have to be honest, I think
で
Escape
ガルド
5
バンギ
are
使ってても嫌なんだよないつも
to battle up
傷
against
薬
MYS's lineup. They've got Tyranitar in the front lines. You're going to have it supported
MYS
with
は
Mr. Mime and Clefable. You've
オー
got
ル
the
メレーだけど
Yes, and then you have Moocrop that
球
can
根
just
と
like
か
come in and out of those
きつそう
battles.
だな
But here's something I'm going to be a bit worried about though.
でも
Their
メレー
game
に対して
lineup
バンギが
compared to MYS is
刺さると思う
definitely
から
more reliant on snowballing. You need to really make those early engagements
そこをヤドランで
work.
カウ
You're
ン
gonna
タ
have
ー
to try
か
and get- We need to level up as fast as possible to hit Tyranitar, and you need to hit MYS before MYS hit critical mass. Because let's be realistic, late game Scyther is really difficult to deal with because he's just so mobile. Urshifu during Rayquaza and objectives, it's annoying. You can't out
バンギ
damage
ね、落とせないんだよ
with
ね。
low. And then Nightmare Foxy, we've seen this guy play Aegis Slash before. He is so precise when it comes to diving those backlines.
That's true, and overall, I think like the only thing that they're banking on the early game for Escape 5 right now is on that alone Ninetales to have a stable game in order for things to eventually work out for Escape 5. And MYS, I feel overall this is a composition that has a well balance of what they have to offer. And I'm also kind of surprised when we don't really see Deathless around. Yemu already used up his eject button, and that will be the first knockout from Escape 5.
Yeah, that was a bit of a punish there, I suppose, because we're like looking at a stacking Urshifu as well, since he was so far out. Sometimes I question if you want to go for those early scores, is it worth it if you're going to get knocked out? I think if it's once during the first score, maybe it's okay.
バンギってどこを置くのが正解なんだろう。
If you're constantly getting knocked out as you're scoring,
Yeah.
right? Because you're giving that experience away. Yes, you're stacking, but
ヘ
experience
ビ隠しないね。
is much more valuable.
本当だ。
Especially up against a lane
バンギ育つのか？
that's quite reliant on those levels. If you can punish constantly with that Larvitar, you're going to get it much quicker to Tyranitar.
I absolutely agree, and I'm on that same sentiment as well. We're sure it
Escape 5 はらしい強くないからハミレックーザのトレイで MS が勝ちそうな気がする。
But for the time being, Escape 5, they're juggling with the pressure just fine, especially with
XP.
Mookroft finding the perfect pickoff. Rebound's got to get his way out of there. Thankfully, there is the Blissey to let some path.
Yeah.
Gardo Kajang.
I'm not sure if maybe it was a miscalc. He sort of ran in front of his
レーンはね、別にどっちも かというと右の方がね、アロキュー、ピッピ、バリアード、結構らしい強いのはそうっていうかね、序盤のエリも言うて悪くないけど。で、ドードリを見るから、序盤走り回れるよと。
We're going to be seeing it soon though as both teams contest for those central Pokemon, and so far it's going to be MYS to have to back on out of here. Their Pokemon very low, but can they finish this Urshifu? Oh no, Drio's got to be so careful, and they don't even get Yamu. He gets out of there on the Urshifu. Fantastic backup there for MYS.
And Nightmare Foxy's going to score a double takedown while they are going with the huge counter. That was masterfully planned.
ガルドになった。強いぞここは。8分中央に枚数をかけたのはエスケープ5だけど、でも KO はね、青が取ってるし、30もね、ストライク上で抜けてるからフリーで。結構赤厳しいんじゃないか。こんまじ。アジョンバチウーラオスいるけど先にポジション取ったから取り合いをすると削りの速さで取っていく。ナイスエスケープ5。4割5割から一気にね削られたらウーラオスでもタイミング合わせるのむずそう。しっかり取ってしっかり改善してもうファーストはいらないよと、それより経験値をくれと、多分値をくれと言っている。ドドリをさゴール終わった後のモーション長くてさ結構タイミングを合わせるの嫌なんだよな。バンギラスになってる。
But I guess like with that presence, they do give a little bit more pressure before MYS tries to get anywhere close to the Regieleki, and there we go. Winnie's gonna start it right through.
Yeah, he hasn't used his Unite. There it is. So let's see if Winnie's gonna be able to do that damage. We see a dash forward there, triple trample by the Dodrio. So far, it looks like it's not too successful on the side of MYS.
いやそれ以上にストライクの11レベルが強いな。ウーラスも上がってきたもんね。
Contra, we have to remember fighting on the goal zones is bad news.
惜しい。
And Rebounds was in such an impeccable position where he was layering them through and managed to even find all the way into the back lines, and that made it pretty easy for him to secure a triple KO. Now they're gonna journey their way all the way down towards the Reggie, and they
さあ
should
どうだ
be able to secure
大差リー
just
ド。
about every single Pokemon that they need.
Oh, this is not what you want as Escape 5. You really needed to contest every single objective. I mean, everyone's in that top lane. I assume at this point they just want to focus on getting these goal zones down, getting this experience up. But, I mean, you've given away that bottom objective. I think at this point it's just them not feeling confident enough to 5-on-5 against MYS.
I think they were already preparing for the late game for the time being, especially with them giving a little bit more priority on turning up with all these energy points to be support. Instead,
ドードリューのウォール能力をね生かして点差をどんどん縮めていってる。経験値どうだ？まあレジ下のレジをね取ってる分青はサポ育ってるけど、多分ねが早く湧いてる赤はねキャリーがちょっとずつレベルを上げてる。それ勝つのか？落ち着く。1回のワントライで落とせないならちゃんと引くと。挟まれてる。
It was terrible, right? Like they lost Mukrob, they forced out the Unite on the Mr. Mime, so that's not going to be available for the next objective, which means that they don't even have to worry about it for this next objective.
ブラックライト。
Reggie Alecki.
名前がかっこいい。頑張ってくれ。バンギが一つ残らずファームをする。こまめな人や。
The rest of the teammates they were nowhere on side.
Oh, if Jazz goes down, this is a mistake. Oh no, he's gone down, and that's going to be basically escape.
中央で視界が見えてるうちに上を取るがセカンドに向かう。これ止められるかピクシー一人で。誰が帰った方がいいんじゃないか。バレた。判断が早い。MYS。一人で点差をね埋めていっているエスケープ5に対してチームで広げていくMYSです。これはねもうバンギの圧でポジション取れてレイジアイスを触る。これはねエスケープ5側はねもうバンギで集団戦しっかりしたいから美味しい。ファーストもしっかりギブ。でもレジエレキをね取ったことを最大限利用してる。どうだ分からないぞこれ。いやでもストライクちょっとレベルが高いぞ。バンギ13届かない。ポジションを取ってるからブッシュから先に仕掛けた SK5 耐えれるか。どうなってる。戦況がばらけてドードリョが追いかけっこ60%カット逃げろ。ちょっとでも点数をとどこまで逃げるとそんな位置でリコールできるのか。おおドードリョに構ってる暇はないと判断。バンギがいやきついぞユナイトナイト。バンギが止まるのか。2回目の集団戦取ったのは SQ5。 レックーザはどうだ。ヤング一人で。あヤングが
I think if anything, we do have to give props to the Dodrio. The fact that he was able to bring MYS on a wild goose chase.
ファイトで返した SK5。
Means to respawn after getting knocked out. It gave their team that second win. He hadn't used the Tyrannical Rampage. So he came back into the fight, Tyrannical Rampage, everything on MYS had already been blown in that first
ドリオが
fight.
粘った。
To make the turnaround happen. But it's not over yet.
ピッピが
Okay,
こっそり
look at this. MYS are
指を振
looking
って
to
ゴー
make
ル
a。 big push happen. And we've seen what this team
それ2人を削れてる。ドドリを削ったのか。偉いぞ。
I don't think they can even make it.
Yeah, there's already 600 points being scored by Escape 5.
まあバンギーいるから厳しそう。
Will not happen. Escape 5
おー
secures game 1.
I was so worried
MYS
at that
初めての黒星
because it looked
なるか。
like right. Both teams lasted quite a while, but Tyranitar was the first one to drop on Escape 5. It looked like MYS was supposed to win that fight, but Mukrob, the Dodrio, the most annoying Pokemon besides Sableye in that late game. Wild Goose Chase forced MYS back. They were so desperate to get that knockout as well.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to get it.
And on top of that, we also need to draw a little bit of attention on Blacklight because he did such a fantastic job to lower down Gameu as well. And then you saw both Rebongs as well as Yemu. They were all being shoved aside to the point that they were running into the same direction. And they will need
どっ
to
ちもうまかったこれ。
as many attention away from each other.
Yeah.
キラさんいらっしゃい。こんばんは。
They have a chance to still survive for that Rayquaza fight. And by the time that they're done, Escape 5 have already had
点数の有利でレック座戦をやりにくくしてたさせてた MYS。 でも SK5 はね、2分前のオブジェクトが2つも取れててね、ポジションも取れてるから、その分ファイトのね、やりやすさはあったけど、ポジション取って来たやつ来たやつ自分たちから仕掛けて2周目ファイトでしっかり勝ってた。この時点でもう120点差あるもんね。
That second wind, who's coming back? Have they used their Unite moves yet? What do they have that is going to make you worry? Is anything going to turn the tides of battle? Like, let's say Clefable, first one to go down in the battle, comes in as your team has been able to survive, will provide heals, can come in with the gravity.
さすがにバンギは落としきれなかったか。
So, oh my goodness. Just, again, great play from... They literally escaped.
Yeah.
They literally escaped.
That's the grand plan after all, and not only escape, they even run away with the very first game itself.
Look, Mukrob ran away with the game, okay? It was him. I think he single-handedly saved the game for his team. Because I think more Pokemon could have been knocked out. But because he was there, he was annoying. Dodrio, man.
You can also say the same about the Clefable. I mean, the final 100
ね、
Yonko was
2分前のね、オブジェクト両方取って SK5 美味しかったけど、でもオブジェクトによらず点数差をね、広げていった MYS もいい判断だったし、まあそこをセカンドを守らずね、有利取れるところで取っていく SK5 の判断も思い切ってよかったな。
Yeah, this one was a little bit weird because the team just sort of left Ninetales and Clefable. So the positioning was pretty interesting.
ここね、決まったら美味しかったんだけどね。
MYS was turning the game in their favor. It was a little bit heavy towards Escape 5 for a little bit, and then MYS were coming back into the game as their Pokemon.
うまく返されちゃったね、ここ。
Especially when you're going into Rayquaza, levels
こ
are
の
so important. But
ファイ
I mean,
ト
this was probably the
これ2周目か。
fight here for Escape 5. Tyranitar, Winnie came back. Mukrob had healed up. He'd also teleported back to base, ran back in. I mean, that's the beauty of
ハロ Q、そこに魔法じゃないわ。バリとピッピいるからね。回復は十分ある。レジアイスの効果残ってる組もいるからさ、回復は十分にありそう。
We have to realize this Pokemon, it's so unique compared to a lot of the other Pokemon available in the game. It's very mobile. it has a very unique scoring method where you can literally just pop a couple points even though you're holding a 50-pointer. So he can hit and run, he can quickly make it back to fights. This Pokemon requires a lot of focus from a team so that you have to realize, okay, there's a Dodrio, he's trying to do this. Is he trying to force our attention away? Or are we going to focus on his team when he's not there? Can we capitalize on this? Like, there's so many things you have to think about when you're fighting up against a Dodrio.
Yeah, and I think like they really have to look out for that once again. So let's also take a look at some of this updated
ポケモンドラフトスタッツ。これはピック率？勝率じゃなくてピック率これ。
First game of the day, it's okay. First game.
ストライクってまだ4回なんだ。ウーラスとメイはもう2桁いってるね。あ、意外とカビゴンハピナス。あ、これはあれか。使用率も入ってるのか。カビゴン4回もバンされてんだ。これ多分インドだな。インドがバンしてるこれ。インドだったかな、バンしたの。インド、ハピか。ウィンレート、これ勝率、ピッピ意外と高いんです。ウーラウスも、裏差高い、ピッピ意外だよね。アマンジュもね、ちょっと高いんだよね。マホクシー。意外なポケモンがランクインしてます。80% だよ。
And if Mew's available as well, I think this Pokemon is almost always picked.
Always picked. Like, I think like one more thing that we may not.
面白いよね。パンピックとブラインドじゃこれぐらい違うんだって。
Not only do you get to deny MYS's pocket picks, you are also using that to the strength of those team fight battles that actually helps this Tyranitar get that free open space.
He's a Tyranitar. He's basically the one buffing up the Tyranitar, right? Like power swap onto Tyranitar. It's like the same thing as like Blissey and Tyranitar. You get the right partner for T-Tar and he really just turns into a monster, and I really like Mr. Mime. You know, because he can also frontline. Blissey, yeah, I guess she also can frontline to a certain degree, but I feel like Mr. Mime really does it best. Because he's got disables, right? He can partner up and really bully opponents with his buddy.
That being said, I mean, we haven't really seen Mr. Mime's win rates as well as the pick rate itself. I wonder how would he be played, because he's not on the top 5 radar, but I do think he is in the top 10.
He's probably, I think he's highly contested. I think that goes without saying. I kind of feel like he'd be sitting at a 50-50, really. It's not a Pokemon that people are using with a lot. He definitely
相手の構成を見てピックできるから、アマージュが刺さるなとか、ピクシーが刺さるなとかあるからね、やっぱり。
I think this is definitely an unexpected play to happen in the first game. I know that I was sort of looking at MYS
逆にストライクを見て、それの対策も取れるから、意外と目立ってないポケモンの方が勝率は高いのかもしれない。ピクシーだったり。
That's right, and for MYS, they also have to look more in towards how they do handle those team fights, where of course there is also the consideration of having somebody to have the need to stop the Dodrio.
Oh, look at
so
this
they are giving priority on this Clefable and says, you know what, go ahead, pick your Urshifu, pick your Scyther, we can deal with it.
Yeah, and Rebong's plays,
これはあれですね。
I think for MYS,
先行後攻変わってないですね。ここでピクシー、ヤドラン、ハスム、さっきとは逆のピックになってます。さっきエスケープ5側がね、ストライクとか渡してたのに。
Okay.
I was like, really?
This is basically MYS telling Escape 5, I double dare you to run another Tyranitar in my game. And they're just gonna melt him now.
I think Delphox is absolutely a great Pokemon up against Tyranitar. And winning,
ピッピ、バンギラス。
but Gardevoir's taking the
相手が誰だろうと、バンギラスを出せよと。
she can get a Unite off and Winnie is around, that is such a big opening for not just Tyranitar,
そんなの知るかと。バンギが好きなんだ。
So now going into this, is that really a Greedent?
Yes,
Oh
This
my
is-
gosh,
It's
it's a
locked right
Greedent.
in. Now let's.
欲張りス初登場。アジアリーグ。
A lot now on this Delphox. So the pressure definitely is on, but
Hey,
that
it's-
also
it's-
leaves the on.
Hang on, it's Yang on the Delphox. Like this guy, I think he's got a very nice proven track record for Delphox. So I'm absolutely confident in his ability to play this Pokemon. But I just
さあ、バンギにはハピネスをつければいい。別にピクシーじゃなくても白がハピー。
I think he's one of the more forgotten defenders currently. He used to
こ
be
こで
one of
欲張り
the
ス。
strongest defenders. He's incredibly mobile. He's hard to take down unless you have some really hard lockdown.
初登
He's
場。
also really good at just backcapping, just because he's got all that mobility. And he can also burst down some of the squishier Pokemon. Sometimes you underestimate the amount of damage he does. And let's not forget, it's also Night Mew Foxy to play this game. Night Mew Foxy is the Mew player for MYS. Greedent requires a lot of skill to really execute.
左側。
So I'm really keen to see what he wants to do.
MIS は火力が足りるのか。
Go for jungling.
でも思ったより火力が足りそうなんだよな。
Going to be the
マクシー永遠に引きながら、バンギに対して引きながら、マジフレチクチクすればいいしね。火力は足りずとも落ちなさそう、バンギとかには。マストライク、サーナイト、この辺をどうしていくか。ヤドランいるからね、そこに入ろうとしたウーラをさ、キャッチされそう。
I also want to know, like, what's the build going to be for that Greedent, right? Is it going to be Belch or is it going to be Bullet Seed? Because we almost never see Bullet Seed nowadays. We normally see Belch, but we'll see what my
リサは多分サーナイトとか
big pest.
かな。
That's almost a given.
種マシンガンで張り付くのもいいし、欲しがるでね、走り去るのもいいし。まあなんと言おうとこの序盤の強さ、リス2枚かまってこようが、安日が強いやつが来ようが、結構取り合えるリスさん。ちゃんとツリースタイル可愛いです。 ここでどんまい。ちょっとタイミングがせーのってできなかったね。ジャングルはストライク。ここで5レベル段階のね、パワースパイクの差が出るのかと思いきや、マホクシーがいいダメージ。マホクシーのスキル3人が同時に当たっちゃったね。くねさんこんばんは。お疲れ様、いらっしゃい。リスが下から5レベルになってポッポッポッポッポー。これどっち？あなたはどっち？欲しがる。じゃあ頬張る？頬張るリス、谷マシンガン。通りすがる側ではなく張り付く側だ。
I kind of wanted to stare at him all game, but we do have a battle happening in a second. I do believe we have the Pokemon spawning in that central area, but I think it was just
1セット前ね、SK5 の方が中央の集まり良かったが、今回は MIS としっかりヤドランが勝ちゃん。リスがストライクを落としてる。ポポポポポポポポポ。強い強い強い強い強い強い。かわいいかわいいかわいい。でかいリボンが。リスがあらかわいい。ビスケットを食べる。ポポポポポポポポポポと。ギリギリ指を振るピクシー。リスいいぞ。 まだまだ暴れるリス。ギリギリを攻めます。1セット目と同じく強気なプレーを見せる MIS。どうだ、当たらずとも打っとけば引くと。解説も可愛さに笑っている。リボンをフリフリと揺らして逃げる逃げるリス。捕まるな。逃げろ逃げろ。いいよ。ストライクとサーナイトに永遠に張り付くリス。そこまで行くか。そこまで取り行くのか。獲物を見つけた。いけいけいけいけ。思わず笑っちゃう解説の人たち。
This is such an entertaining game, but this is also going to be a big lesson for Escape 5, right? So of course, the game's not over. They still have the Rayquaza that they can potentially take, but they
さあ、バンギーユナイトは残っている。バリユナ？魔法ユナがないのか。でもピッピがある。はい、ドロポンプ。リスが合流。ポポポポポポポポポ。エレキ処理できるか。じゃあちょっと足りない。いきなりいらっしゃい、こんばんは。リスが。リスはいつ敵陣からいなくなるのこれ。ずっと視界をね、リスさんが映してくれてるから、とても動きやすいブナイス。試合を作りやすい。さあでも集団戦となったらバンギ、サナ、ハッピー、アドラン、この組み合わせが暴れる子。ウーラウスは削れない。どうだ、ちょっと足りない。さあみんなのヒーローリス。しっかりとオブジェクトに対してリソースが入っているところに入って張り付くリス。フリフリフリフリ。フリフリフリフリ。こっちは指をフリフリ。おお、いけいけ、リスリスリス。追いかけろ追いかけろ。リスがまだサーナイトを追いかける追いかける追いかける。でもここで KO を取られると痛いが、まあ、ホクシーがカバー。ストライクはユネット上がってるけど打たない判断。上で使いたいよね。とてもやりづらい。エスケープ5。ヤドレナで仕掛けたが、もう手のもう手遅れか。エスケープ5。まだまだ張り付く。いやだこれ。やだなこれは。逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ。いいよ。マホクシーがしっかりマップを見ている。カバーが早い。まだ行く。いやまだ行く。まだまだ逃げる。どこまでも逃げ道がない。いや逃げれた。14レベルリス誕生する。削っても痛くないもんと。 いつもと変わらぬ表情でマップを走ります。欲張り生き延びダッシュ、3めがけて入ってる入ってる入ってる入ってる。走れ走れ走れ。かわいいぞリス。あ、入れているうちにレッグザを取り切ったのは SK5 だが、この500点以上の差、これを埋めるのは難しい。なぜならリスさんが張り付いてシールドを剥がす。いけいけいけ、もう君には興味ないよと次の獲物を探す。さあ次に興味を示すのは誰だ。興味を持たれるのはストライク。ヤドンには興味がないよと。ここでリスが追い打ちをかける。400点以上の差。ちょっと点数足りないか。リスが前線入れる。いけ、欲張りダッシュ。剥がれるか。剥がした。タイロリス全回復。くるくると首を回して逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ逃げろ。リスここにして初 KO を取られた。1本目取られたとは思えないぐらい気にしてないよという構成を出してきた。強い。
It feels like it doesn't matter what you ban for Team MYS at this given point in time because if you're gonna have
いや初登場でこのあぶれっぷり。
there's no counterplay. Like Escape 5 literally have to realize the whole
リスさんダメージはね出てないんですが、ずっと8分ぐらい7分ぐらいね5分ぐらいか敵陣にでねちょっかいを出していたが、でもその分しっかりダメージ回復どちらも一人でこなしている。手にトロフィー持ってるもんこのリスのアイコン。手にトロフィー持ってるよこれ。ヤンのマホクシーもねリスが取ってる鹿に合わせてすぐさま駆けつけて敵を KO を2人で取ってるのもすごいな。リスの使い方が終始落ちない縦マシンガン。
they absolutely got deconstructed here and like they look at that 4-minute mark. They managed to get that 68 pointer and then it just stagnated because
ホワチもリス大好きだな。結構配信も使うもんな。
Actually, there's one thing I do want to also quickly mention. The fact that Night Mew Foxy just camped Escape 5 central area. He was farming all of their wild Pokemon as well. And this is quite impactful because normally you would
一気に分からなくなっ
all
た。
wild Pokemon in your side are safe to take. That's going to be some relatively good experience. But to have someone sit there and take all of your experience away, it starves your team, right? Because that experience is no longer going to you; it's going to the enemy side.
and the fact that Escape 5 is so resource heavy, this is basically the perfect game plan from MYS. Like absolutely outwitting the entirety of the squad. So I just really have to give my hats off if I ever had a hat on
Hey,
anyways.
MYS like threw their hat on the floor and a greedent crawled out of that hat, okay? And that greedent shocked everybody.
They're magicians.
They're
essentially.
magicians, yes, they are.
ね、指振るもね、
It was, honestly, it was
面白く
amazing
て
to see the greedent play. Alright, so we do have the greedent plays. I mean,
これでまたピッピの勝率が
MYS this match, they had
もう一段階上がりました。
especially after a pretty devastating first match, right? They seemed relatively okay, especially around that
ピク
first
シ
fight of Rayquaza, but now they
ー、
turn
そして
around and
初
say,
登場にもかかわらず
"Alright,
緊張の糸が見えなかったリス。
pulling out the secret strats. What have you got up your sleeve
待って
this
ま
time?"
した
Like,
と。
okay, I got the greed and let's go. And he really just put the work in to mentally just destroy Escape 5 because you could see in these fights like they really questioned whether they were supposed to target the Greedent at all because firstly he was very tanky to deal with. We actually never saw him really get KO'd till the very end. And if they targeted MYS, then this Greedent was free to do whatever he wanted. And people just
スパボーが8000のピクシー持ってるの？
Escape 5.
Yeah, and every single team fight that Escape 5 signs
そう。
up for, like, they didn't have
2
enough
周目のオブジェ
damage
クトは
on
ね、
after
結構
all these
エスケープ5が取ったなと思ったら
that early game, and they just basically couldn't even burst down either the sport. They couldn't get anywhere near the Delphox, and I felt that it was way too difficult for Escape 5.
MYS はね、少しも差を縮めさせたくなかったのか結構強気でいったね。そう、意外とね、リス、ストライクとかね、
There's so much going on in this game.
It was exactly right. They had the Regieleki. Like
なんだろう。
the Regieleki went in. They were like, okay, you can have Rayquaza.
ちゃんとね、敵陣荒らしてレベルもね、ファームを奪ってレベルも上げてるから止まんないねもう。
crawl back in the central area and just kept scoring like nobody's there to even do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna learn a little bit more about Night
こん
View
ばん
Foxy.
は。
So as you can see on the screen, he plays a lot of Mew. He
こんばんは。
also likes to play Zoroark, and he
はい
likes
こんばん
chess.
は。
I think this
こんばんは。
kind of explains his mindset going into these games.
遅刻
Because
しまし
anyone
た。
that doesn't play chess,
大丈夫で
it's a
す。
very complicated game. There's a lot of thinking involved. You have to think about your moves
コインランドリ
time,
ー
not
で
just your current
コインランドリー。
So I think this is a great way to sort of
頭で食べてたらこの時間になってまし
how
た。
Night View Foxy functions because you see when in his movements when he's playing Mew and of course when he saw them on the Greedent and even Aegis Slash, that's another Pokemon
強かったねあれ。
so far at the ACL. He's
やろう
always
うち
thinking
も。
about the next move,
オバリス。
his initial move.
うちもやろ
Right, and in
やるんだったらねファイターの枠あの試合の序盤見てなかったんだよね。
is it going to be a checkmate though because we still have
う。
games
下レーンで経験値の多い下レーン行って18しかり5レベルになって
はいはいはいはい。
永遠かじゃん。
ああね、下一バリに任して。
ずーっとかじゃん。視界取って。
まあ確かに5レベなりやすさあるし、5レベになった時のカジャンパワー、他の、まあ明治系採用しない、まあ中央魔法だからできることか。
なのかな。バリだったしね、相方が。
うん、そうね。下魔法バリとかにしちゃうと結局魔法5レベルのに放っても微妙だし。まあ、どうなんまあ、そうか。魔法に経験値をずっと回せるか、その方が。多分俺らのいつもだったら、普通に魔法下レーンに置いてリスの枠をドリとかアブとかそういう5レベル強いやつでいてそのままカジャンなんだけど、まあカジャン行って経験値取れるかどうかで敵の育ち次第だから素直に全部魔法に経験値集めてできる。あ、違うな、2周目ウーラに食べさせてんのこれって。あちらはヤドンカジャンで
ヤドンがなんかネットで入ってったね。
はいはいはいはい。まあ2周分渡しやすいのは偉い。
だろう。されてもって感じだもんな。結局ジャングルが育ってないから、やっぱりね終盤とかは押せないよねファイト。70レベル11レベルだったらきついもんなサンダー戦。
そうね、その前に9レベルになったタイミングでどっか潰せんときつそうだね。サナガは。まあサナバンギっていう2枚重いの 取っちゃって、それのカウンターでみたいな感じではありそうだけど、去るときマジで刺されそう。
もうなんかストライクに貼り付けるんだったらもう誰にでも貼り付けそうだけどね。
レベル次第じゃない？ストライクのレベルだったら、
まあ確かにレベルもそうだけど、レベルは
ストライク中央かに貼り付くって話か。
貼り付くっていうか、なんだろう、別にストライク自体はそんなに腐ってる印象はなかったから、差だけだったけど、同じレベルぐらいならリスでも貼り付けるんだったら、もうキャラパワーあるストライクに貼り付けるんだってもう誰にでも貼り付けそうだよね、リス。
まあ、その視界取り続けるは、闇ラミとかよりもやりやすいと思う。
当時、出てきました、リス。
序盤重いからとかじゃないんだな。普通にグレーシア、カリウラ、バナだけはちょい重いけどね。そこに出すんだ、リス。
誰に対してもリスならやれるじゃない、やっぱり。
まあ、ストライク魔法いりゃ、集団戦の火力そこそこ足りそうだし、中盤の安定寛容で。
魔法いて、ただ視界を取るだけで魔法がやりやすいから、
まあ、魔法の2周目がどうしても弱いから、5レベから7レベぐらいまで。この時間をレーンで5レベまで育てて、火山とか火山タイルとかさして、魔法を育てたい。
魔法が育たないなら敵も育たせない。できるもんな。別に同じぐらいだったら負けじゃないしね。火山されようと。実際は。
魔法のレベルめちゃめちゃ重く見てんのかな。まあ多分そうなんだろうね。魔法マジで全力で育てる用の治療の経験値渡して。素直にドリオとか取った方が8分5時のタイミングはパワーあるからさ。わざわざレーンディスなり、どうなんかとか思うけど、まあ、本当に魔法に全力でファームさせたい。そんな感じな気する、このリスは。ドリオ11とかアブ11とかは全然圧ないけど、リス11だったら全然圧出せるからな、敵の柔らかいやつに対したら。
もう走ってるだけで魔法士多分やりやすいんだよな。
まあそうね、闇ラミみたいな感じで
攻撃しやすそう
だし、まあドリオとかと違ってなんか内側で動いたとしても急に死ぬっていうテンションないだろうから、怠慢で一気に死ぬみたいなのはそこら辺ちょっと安定感はありそう。
直帰バナー、これもまた珍しい。
直帰、い
やさすがにカビゴンが強い。これはこれリス5レベルならない。
8全部食べれたらいけそう。ワンチャンチビ8バリが取ってリスがデカ取ってならないね。
ならないね。ゴール
まあ
しても
バリオンはできてるから誰の感じは任して。ピクシー入ってるかじゃん上から。
誰でもいいんやな、もう入るのは。
まあ上1がストライク5レベルで足りるから任して加算して。グレーシア相手ね、なんかグレーシアがまあ削ってたか。時間かけたら絶対負けそうだけど。
集合強い強い強い強い強い。
機動力。
いやストライク連で7レベルは強い。
Interesting decision to go for the icicle spear. I don't know if that's gonna. Okay, so I'm just thinking.
下のリスを警戒したら上が逆にラス弱くなって育つパターンか。
So if I'm not mistaken, normally Glaceon can 100 to 0 a objective with 2 skill cycles, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough really. Some Pokemon can get punished from this because you can get some really big combo hits.
あら可愛いねこのスキン。目チカチカするけど。
Ara,
trying to
kawaii.
body block the damage for you, so it's not 100% reliable when it comes to damage. But we have a big defense, though. Phantom Fireworks be thrown there onto Escape 5 hit, but doesn't really matter, though. They're going to turn the fight around, and now it's going to be the Venusaur.
いやピッピとも相性良さそう谷マシンガンは。
そうね、叩けりゃ硬い方だからピクシーのこの人は。
But there's nothing Escape 5 can do. They charged the wicked blow, but everyone just backed away. Now Mukrob, he's going to deal some damage there to Yamu. They will, looks like they will get the easy objective, and now they punish that Glaceon. Chucked down.
しっかりバナ13、14まで作れんって絶対しんどいな。14欲しいな。ストライク順調に育っちゃってるし。どっかでこれ回収して経験値バナに集めて、バナが死ななけりゃ、バナがストライクユナイトとかで死ななけりゃいける。
バナ嫌そうだなアリス。相手も回復する。
ただまあマポユナマジフレストライクダメージ一気に落とされそうではあるから、落とされんような耐久が欲しいレベルで。
おお。
ユナイトまだある。
木の実ダッシュ。追いつかないが、でも生き残るから OK。
And look at him, he's single-handedly just held the team away from this objective so MYS can take the Alecki for themselves.
ユナイト1個リス使っちゃったけど、他がしっかりファームできてるから。まあこういう流れでもない。ああ、今使ったのか。
どこまで前を張るんだリス。
It's like one of those games where you see the health bar, it looks like it's going to go down, but it resets because it's actually another layer of health underneath.
Yes, that's what this is all about. MYS, I mean,
ウエレンストライクめちゃめちゃ育ったな。対面がハピウーラとかのそんなパワーないやつらだから。
リスを警戒しすぎたのかもしれないこれは。
下側にバナカビ。グレイシアどこ行ってたんだっけ？
グレイシアはジャングル？グレイシアは上ガンク。
上ガンか。それであれか。ストライクが強い。
でもマホクシ別にダメージが出ないわけじゃなさそうゴレベは。結構火の粉痛いもんな。
まあそうね。ハピウーラがダメージは出ないからグレイシアワンマンになった時に落としきるのは結構難しそう。
痛い痛い痛い痛い。
Fighting in their own terms. They're just not worried about Escape 5.
Not at all, and now, like, the Glaceon problem has been solved. Like, literally nobody from Escape 5's got damage to offer.
Look, the thing is, I don't really feel like this game, Glaceon really did much.
Exactly.
I had a lot of expectations for this Pokemon too. I think we said this yesterday. For Glaceon to really come online, you have to stay with a level advantage. You want to also deny the experience so that they're the ones starting going into that mid-game, but that never happened, and now they're sort of falling back onto Blacklight on being the damage dealer, but look at this,
11レベルから木の実の数増えるからね。
even with the support for Blissey, he just doesn't last long enough to do what he wants to do.
This is what it feels like to have a pain of 1,000 years overall. Nightmare and Foxy will haunt them in their sleep, and Mukrob
追いかける。
あーでも
落とした。
落とした。
逃げれるか？逃げれる？
割と逃げ切れそうな雰囲気はある。
種マシンガンのスローを使って
敵ない
ピッピのカバー。
バナユナイト。
ピッピのカバ
ー。あでも魔法捕まっちゃった。あでも逃げたギリ。
あれ？1対5で。
こういう時ウーラしんどいな追いかけるの。ウーラハピカビ。
1対5でグレイシャ落として逃げ切ったぞこの椅子。
木の実のいいとこ出とるな。足速い。
やめてあげてもう。
This Pokemon, it can do so much, but it's also so frail if someone can jump on top of you.
I have a feeling for many of these
リスはね、猛攻気合ビスケット。この人は。
Oh, heck yes. Yes.
メダルが気になる。
Just as effective as a dogger would, and like, so long as you just have the rest of the team doing what they are supposed to do, like,
so
you just get free objectives, like what MY is doing.
危険を察知してる。言ってはダメだと。いやでも平気だっていう。
まあタンクだからな。
ラッシュ
うわーラッシュ。でも
ウーラスの強みをまあでも魔法ユナが
マホがいいダメージ入ってるけど取り切りになる？
なるが
激しそうだけど逃げ切れるか。
いやでも先ほどのゴール差はないから
ウーラリコールするんだ。
入れなかったね。バナシールドない。
先防衛して敵倒してからみんなで行こう作戦なんかも知らんけどウーラ死んだな。点が足りん。
And they don't have the shield to even going for the score, and oh, Yang just gotta take him down from afar. This is done and dusted from now. There's just no way of Escape 5 coming back to this game.
カビゴンと誰だと残ってるの？ハピナスかな。あでもまた剥がしてるリスが。
ハピ5点しかない。固まって敵倒してがいけたらもう一回ぐらいなたまらんかな。バリユナ上がった。バリマフォユナイトあんのしんどいな。
剥がされる。
そこに攻めていくの。
バナはもうなくてグレイシャーあるっけ？
ないと思う。カビだけじゃないかな。これ寝てシールド増やしてもナイス。フライ爆発いやーマフォユナ強え。
I think this might just be it. MYS about to lock in this final game of this best of 3 series and also take home 3 points. That's going to push them further up the leaderboard and almost guarantee first seed. But I think at this rate we can say they have 100%.
まあ3ロトも流されてるしラッシュでワンチャン作ろうっていう感じだって割とね取ったからありそうだったけどさすがに元の点数差もあってしんどかったな。サクッとゴール決めてすぐ戻ってあげないとエレキを仕込まれるあれもあったからウーラスそれ警戒のリコールだったんだけど惜しい。ワンチャンは割と合いそうだった。エスケープ V 側はエスケープ5。
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the other teams start looking into Greedon, especially with how well MYS were able to execute this Pokemon.
あれ俺って今ミュートだった？
喋ってるよ。
あ、喋ってたよかった。
draws attention away, he can backcap, he's very difficult to chase, he's just there to be a nuisance, like a semi-dojo.
もうリズおかしいじゃん。一人でダメージ出して一人で受けて一人で回復してるもん。
あのグレイシャー本陣前でやったのあれすごかったな。生き残ってるしあの判断できんのお化けだ。
This game, 132,000 damage and he healed 103,000.
I don't even know what
This is
to say
healing
anymore.
himself, Contract. He is healing himself. This is what happens when you're on a diet of vegetables.
Yeah, and you know,
ナイトがないのかあの3エレキのタイミング。その前に上でリスらへんのファイト、ここで決めきれたらよかったんだけど、
そこにバナユナとか入ってたもんね。
そうマフォも裏ユナイトでキャッチできたけどみたいな感じだったから、まあユナイトないから次3エレキもう一回行っても勝てないから真ん中で集まってウーラパワーで取り切りワンチャン。惜しかった。
ピンク5のリストが強そう。ピンク5白6。妨害さえなければ。
まあいっか。確かにそっか。
傷薬持って妨害はまあピンクでなんとかできるのであれば強そうではある。
He's so good at self-sustain if you only have a sustained lineup, and he's really good at
種マシンガンなんかから妨害でね足止まって死ぬ可能性あるだろうし。
You've got a couple ways to deal with the Pokemon, but it's very difficult execution-wise to do it.
Yeah, and I think like it's really respectable how Escape 5 still managed to deal with this situation here, especially on game 3, where they were really banking on that Rayquaza, but in terms of having enough members to still run in for those points, I think like they were quite depleted already, and they were just waiting on this glimmer of hope for this Snorlax to finally break open the doors. Sure, they did manage to land in that 92 pointers, but after that,
ピッピこれもう勝率90%いったんじゃない？
マジでピッピ取ってる方勝つね。
あるぞこれはピッピの世代。
I mean, this is also a testament to MYS in general. Like,
不思議花使ってるチームって今まであったっけ？
For anyone that's not aware,
あったっ
MYS
け？
is comprised, right?
あな
If I'm not
今
mistaken,
日エスケープ
the team was
5
actually
使ってた
built
けど
by two of the
な
players
かっ
from
た気は
Renaissance that played
あ
at
っ
Worlds
け？
last year. So the existing lineup of Renaissance that's
あ
playing
んま
in
り
the
記
ACL
憶は
now, three of
ない。
the players were the ones from the lineup last year, and then two of the players from Renaissance last year is in MYS. These players, they're veterans. They
一
played
回
this
は出て
game,
そう
they
だな
played
で
the
もバナ
World Circuit
さすが
last
に。
year. They're very experienced. They've got international experience as well. And the
おお
Renaissance
出た出た出
banner
た。
last year came in third in a world-class competition. So
これで落ちないんだ
the
もん
fact
な
that。you've got two players
パンチ当たって
種
るのに
マシンガンのスロ
when
ー
it。comes to playing the game, you're also going to know that they will
逃
be
げ
very
る時の
knowledgeable
種
about
マシンガンは
football,
すごい輝
able
く。
to also play the
強いねあ
drafting
れ。
game. I think
射
朝
程
日も
長い
気
から。
合で
coming
取ってと。
into ACL, drafting is still very new to them, and they haven't quite figured out the ins and outs and what to really capitalize when it comes to drafting Pokemon. Because there's also the extra mind games of not just playing the game, but also sitting there looking at the Pokemon that you're playing against and thinking like, okay, this player is probably going to go on this Pokemon, this. Here's how we're going to play against it. Here's also our
ちょっとオムライス温めてきます。
because here's the thing, when it comes to drafting, you can't think
オ
of
ム
what
ライ
you're
ス？
going to do in that moment. You've got to
あれ？
think of a plan B if things go south.
ご飯食べて
Because
きて
you've
な
got
かったっ
if
け？
you're on a
まだか。
one-road draft, you are stuck on that road.
That's true, and like when we talk about the strength of this team, they not only have the brains but also the bronze to even
卵。
do it. And the only team right now that
アイジンさんも卵のゲーム誘ったのにな。
has to be Renaissance, right? Like, of course, it was.
アイジンさん言ってたら多分今頃オムライスは食べてない。
So they will basically have pages of the playbook that both sides actually do have. So I think like when we do lead up to that week itself, it will definitely be a really, really good game. But with that conclusion, I think that even though Escape 5 may not actually walk away with the series, that one pointer is going to be really
It'll be
important
important,
for them
yes.
to actually run through the
そう
gauntlet
誘っ
of
た。もう誰でもいいからもう
Exactly. I mean, the
一緒
season
に
is
地
still
獄を味わう人が
evolving.
欲しかっ
For
た。
these players, of course, you do want to get that 2-1, but luckily for us, we are going to be blessed with an interview with none other than Night Mew Foxy, the Crispus Greedent, who's going to be coming up onto the stream right now. Night Mew Foxy, welcome to the stream. How are you feeling? You had an amazing day with Greedent.
リズ使ってた人だ。
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we do.
Okay. Thank you for the Greedent Christmas appraisal thing.
Yeah, and like I really want to hear from you yourself because like this pick was never being played throughout the course of the past couple of weeks, and like was this prepared throughout the week itself? And was it your idea specifically, or did the suggestion came in from your team members?
We sort of kept Greedent as a secret weapon. Then we tried to play against their comp, but for the first round it wasn't working. So I guess we kind of found their weakness, which their back end attackers don't have any support. So I believe that Greedent can execute them easily.
Yeah. Speaking of
That you did.
speaking of Greedent, I think some people sort of see Greedent as a not so successful defender. We've been seeing a lot of Mammoth Swine being picked up. We've seen a lot of Snorlax. I want to hear your thoughts on Greedent. Like, how do you feel about the balancing of this Pokemon so far? Is it really as weak as people say it is?
I believe it is because it's not really compatible with a lot of teams. And just so you know, Greedent, it just won't die. But the problem is your teammates will die. So you have to do your own job to survive and protect your teammates at the same time.
I see. So basically, I want to know as well, like throughout the communications of game 2 and game 3 specifically, was that what you were telling to the team? Like, guys, can you just please don't be knocked out at any given point? I'm just gonna do everything else. You know, like, was that what you said to them? I want to know what exactly you said to them.
What I said to them, and they weren't going to get knocked out anyway because I really opened up the field. So I was just calling people from left and right, who's there, who's not there, who's went to the other side. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's all that's needed.
All right,
Yeah.
Naomi, I want to kind of help the viewers and also us learn more about MYS as a team. So who is it that's generally the shot caller? Is it just one particular player, or is it you as a team communicating what's happening on the map?
Both happen sometimes. Sometimes you get into conflicts on what we're doing, but ultimately, if we want to listen, we listen to Rebong's call.
Yeah. And then when it comes to drafting, last question as well. Thank you for the interview. Who is it that's mostly in charge of drafting? Is it you guys picking what Pokemon you want to play, or is it again maybe Rebong's directing the draft?
We sort of plan it out before the tournament,
Oh, wow.
so we won't panic. Yeah.
That's good
Alright.
to hear.
Okay, thank you so much for the interview, Nightmare Foxy. Congratulations on your win today. I know all the
you.
viewers had a lot of fun watching your greeting. Hopefully we see some more in the future.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Alright. Take care.
Bye bye.
Man, that was cool.
Yeah, and he's so super chill about it. Like, and I'm glad to actually hear that. Since we lost game 1, like it's time
リス頑張ってた。
put that secret strat.
使いたくなるね、あれ見たら。
I just love that this team has such a strong mentality that not only did they come prepared, but they knew exactly what they need at every given moment. And like you said, like Naomi Foxy, all you have to do is just give the cue, and the rest will follow through.
Exactly. Now I do believe we have the updated scoreboard as well, so we can see where the teams are currently ranked in the Southeast Asia League. And of course, as you can see, with 9 points at the very tippy top is MYS. They have won every single series thus far, but pretty interesting thing with this, they have 2-1 in every single game. They haven't 2-0'd anybody.
MIS 全勝。
So far, they have been
これは
resilient.
強
They
い。
have gone the distance, but they are not. I wouldn't say they are a truly dominant team like High Five, I suppose.
Exactly, but then again, like I feel like so long as you be able to learn on how your opponents actually play out, dropping one game isn't gonna look all too bad
No.
after all. So long as you walk away with those 3 pointers, and for the fact that they've actually taken the second seed out on that respective matchup, now Escape 5, they have 4 points to book with, so we'll definitely see what else could they possibly do within the span of 2 weeks. So, of course, Renaissance may not have as many games to
Hey.
be played out just yet. They
Hey,
are about
they're-
to get into the next match.
Yes. I was gonna say like, hang on, we're gonna see them in just a second. So our next series of the day, I do believe it's gonna be Renaissance playing up against the Indonesian Open champions Rise. It's gonna be an exciting series because I think I remember it pretty clearly. MYS versus Rise, it was a pretty intense series. It went again to 3 games. Rise, they showed a lot of potential, and I'm really interested to see how they play against a team such as Renaissance.
That's right, and like for Renaissance, I hope to see them dropping some secret strats too this time around.
Maybe they don't need to,
Yeah,
who knows?
we'll give them some time to think, and of course, for the time being, you guys could basically get a few minutes of break, and we'll be right back shortly for more Pokemon Unite action here in the Asia Champions League.
5分休憩だわ。今、出演全勝だ、今んとこ。3戦3勝。 種マシンガンリスの対策か。どうだろうね。レベルなかったらすぐ落ちるからな。でも序盤勝てばその分楽な気はする。こんなもう10レベとか5分段階でされてもね、差ないと8だから。これは面白かった、この試合。ちょっと休憩だ。
And that was a quick break, and welcome back to the Pokemon
Yo,
Unite
Punch Up.
Asia Champions League Southeast Asia. That was an exciting matchup that we just had, and of course we do congratulate Team MYS for winning that series 2-1. Still a really tight battle, and now we're going to move on to the next one. Of course, it's your casters here, Contra, as well as Downley, to bring you throughout the course of the battles. But wow, I'm glad that we had a break, because those games were breathtaking. Like
breathtaking, or more like us trying to gulp down air, because
yeah,
I think out of all the games that we've seen thus far, I think we've probably had the most fun with this one in Southeast Asia.
True enough.
The first series that features Greedent, and I think it also showed the best qualities of this Pokemon, because Nightmare Foxy, he did bring up a good point where that Greedent, although he's classified as a defender, he definitely plays much more differently than your classic defender. The classic defender is basically Snorlax. I think he's the best example of classic defender. He protects the team, he protects the goal zones, he's like that wall between you and the opponent. Greedent doesn't really do that. There's a very aggressive style Pokemon. It's still considered a defender because firstly, he's very tanky and he can actually goal zones rather well, but he excels in attacking the backline. He's so fast, so mobile, and he can self-sustain rather well, so it's really difficult to take down that Pokemon. But of course, we are going to push that series away because we have another one coming right up. It's Renaissance versus Rise. So let's take a look at our two upcoming teams for this best of 3 series.
That's right. I'm going to start with Renaissance, where we have a camera on board alongside with Ruvis, Ice, Solo, as well as Dev.
Yep, and on the side of Rise, we have Zoe, Eeyore, Axq, Necro, and Illuna. Now, we did see what both of these teams have done. Renaissance only playing one best of 3, but I think at this point, anyone that follows the Southeast Asia region, and in particular last year for APAC, we know what Renaissance can do. Whereas Rise, a team that has sort of come out of nowhere, and they have pulled off some pretty crazy things so far. So I am excited to see what they can do up against Renaissance.
Yeah, and I think like they are champions of their specific region for
Yes, Indonesia.
very, very good reason overall. Where looking at that playstyle, they also do have a very different methodological way of playing the game. Whether it's going to be a team fight or goal scoring type of composition, I feel like it's something that you actually need to have going up against an opponent like Team Renaissance overall. And let's take a look at some of the stats that we do have for Team Rise, as they did go up against Team MYS, and that was that really, really close matchup against them, taking them to all the way to 3 games, and they managed to get 1 point at the very least.
Yeah, so something that I sort of noticed when it came to Rise's matchup in particular. So firstly, when Dodria was available, it was always being picked up on Eeyore. Now, we know for the first game in that best of 3 against MYS, they won because of Eeyore. He was the only player on the team scoring points, and he single-handedly won the match just because he was able to get those really crucial back caps. And then, of course, from then on out, we're always seeing him playing on that Dodrio. Coming into this series, though, I don't know if you're going to be able to rely on a single Pokemon, because their opponent, Renaissance, this is not a team that you're just going to be able to get away with cheese. They're very,
I agree.
very experienced.
And like the question is, are they going to put all their eggs on that Eeyore basket again? Is what we will have to find out. Of course, Renaissance have only played 1 game as well so far, and that was against Escape 5. They did walk away with every 3 pointers that they managed to accumulate, and that was against Escape 5. Now against Rise, like, it really begs the question: is there going to be that huge of a challenge coming in from Team Rise? Because Renaissance, now I would dare say, they are the household names here in Southeast Asia, where they've been able to get to Worlds in the past, representing the region during the WCS 2022 for Asia Pacific. But you know, like, this is only the beginning of their journey once again to even make it back to the top and to get to the finals of ACL. I feel like Renaissance have a lot of
ルネサンスはまだ1戦しかやってないのか。2戦目かこれ。全然まだ先がある。
pressured into locking a single strat or a single play style. I mean, there's absolutely room for experimentation, and if you want to, you can pull out the stinky cheese, but again, that's going to be up to you. But before we jump into this matchup, we are going to learn
いつをメダル使うなら耐久と移動どっちがいいですかね。どっちだろう。
He likes to troll, and he likes playing solo queue, which probably explains his name.
Well, if that's going to be the case, like, about trolling, are we going to see him troll in some of these matches? That is for us to find out.
好みになっちゃうもんな、もうその辺の細かいのは。
If you're going to happen to be in the same lobby as Solo in some of your games, we wish you good luck.
Well, I mean, it's probably a good thing that you're able to enjoy solo.
移動速度がそこまで大きく変わるのかな。
Like, there's no coordination, there's no communication with the team, and sometimes it's hard to communicate and say, like, hey, I want to do this, come with me. Or sometimes people just don't look at pings. Some people just play the game as is. And I know when I don't play with sound, sometimes I kind of don't pay attention to pings. So I make mistakes. But I guess Solo, I mean, this guy, he's on Renaissance. He's here for a reason. So to enjoy solo queue, that's going to be great for your personal improvement.
I like to troll.
Rise, we're gonna take a look at Necro.
Let's
So-
see what he has though.
He likes playing Absol and Serena. He used to only play quick match. That is
Huh.
pretty interesting.
Very, very interesting
I mean-
actually.
And he actually knows about Pokemon from playing Pokemon Unite. So this is saying that he's never really engaged Pokemon until now.
Wow, that we definitely do welcome him to the world of Pokemon because there's so much for him to explore, and just look at how great of a player he is, right? Like
Exactly,
from
he's
the
playing
plays
on a
that
team.
he had, like
Quick
when we're
match.
looking at him playing some of all these hyper carry roles overall, like loving to flex with the Serena and also to have Absol to be some of his core picks. So
Yeah.
are we gonna see him going back on Serena? Because I believe Team Rise is also a team that did show us the Serena card quite a number of times.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, do you really want to go for Serena? I don't think we have a good win rate for Serena in the
Not at the
tournament so
time
far.
being.
Yeah. So, I mean, situationally, I think Serena could definitely work. But again, you've got to think about, okay, what's the Serena going to be playing into? Because she's not she's not as strong as she used to be. She used to be in a position where she could deal damage. She had great self-sustain. She was very threatening on her own. They did reduce her damage, so she's not going to be as threatening by herself. And her sustain, it doesn't work against those very bursty compositions. Like if you just get bursted and removed in 1 or 2 seconds, like where's the healing? You're not in the game. You're in the fountain.
Yeah, and like let's see what will they actually pick as we are ready with the drafts here as we're about to kick off our first game. So Team Rise will have the first pick priority. So it really goes down to what the band's gonna be like. So as per usual, I think like teams are looking at picks like Sableye as well as Mew to be removed, but that
Could be Urshifu as well.
yeah, like we've seen that.
Urshifu,
お、始まった
Dodrio has been a
ちょうど。
potential ban as well.
よーし。
But pretty typical bans. Urshifu and likely that Scyther.
Does that mean that Rise is going to pick up the Mew here, where I think like many of these teams will definitely have this to be one of the core structures of how they really want to work things around, and they will immediately secure their own
No,
Dodrio first.
That's for Eeyore. Easily. Eeyore's Dodrio. I think this is basically going to be a given for Rise. If they don't first pick the Dodrio, then I don't think they're going to get it at all. So, yeah, Dodrio on Rise. I mean, Renaissance is going to be prepared for this, but here's the
ハピ
thing.
シラガだって。
They've picked 2 supports. They're going to be going for the Blissey.
ハピシラガだっ
This
て
is。something I'm
どうする
どうするのこれ。
I'm
You
looking.
smell the cheese already?
I'm sorry. There's definitely some I don't know if it's stinky cheese or if it's just
先取りサボっ
取り上げ
た
部。隊来た。
interesting coming out from Renaissance.
じゃあピクシーまで取ろう
And
か。
I do like that there is already
また
very
ハピ
many
ピクシ
clear moves coming from Team Rise as well.
バンギ
Mr. Mum and the Delphox, so you will have damage output from quite
Equal
a
to
range
that.
at the same time, and you can still have
Oh my
Serena to
goodness.
continue to do her work on the front lines, and that will also be paired up with the Snorlax. Now you have both Lucario as well as Greninja on Renaissance.
まあサポ2枚取るとね、絶対集団戦のパワーはさらなるだろうけど、中盤がね、なんやかんやなるから、
I actually can't.
A
I
blast
can't.
from
バリカビ相手にワタハピ出す日取れんもんね。
Charizard in the
リ
end.
ザードン
されすぎんか。
We have not
リザドン
seen this Pokemon at all, so I'm
まあ
not
ヒーラーいないから、ユナイトで全体的にあぶれば、
We haven't seen
あとは月光がで美味しく
I don't
食べられる
think we've seen Hoopa,
と
so
いう
that
話
might
かもしれん
be。
新速と下戸で削ってね、新速とバナで回復ない相手削っ
We'll have
て
to double
下
check.
戸
Now, we
で
know this is
食
absolutely
べる。
the first time we're going to be seeing Charizard, but this composition from Renaissance is
え
bizarre to say the least. Their frontliner is going to be Blissey. We have Ruvus.
うん
playing
下戸いいな。
We've got the
体力削って引いたところをね、下戸だったらラッシュして自分で削って自分でラッシュも狙えるからやりやすさはマジでありそう。
削り早いは優秀やっぱり。
Is this also the first
右の正面に出るキャラがカビ、バリ、
ア
アンマとかだからリザがうまいことつかめるかどうかよね。まあ、ただって結果。
なんでも直しが届くだけだから全然キャッチはできるなこれは。
バリから一気に捕まって落とし切られるとかは、まあ言うてサポ多いからそれもないだろうし。まあ序盤か。序盤押されすぎんかったら右は強そう。
リザ中央。
And it's also supported by ruins at the same
He's a
time. It's
duo.
like, okay, you have a smooth cruise for the time being, and we're already seeing Solo coming with the scores, and as for Team Rise, they're going to do the same over on the bottom lane. Nothing too much that Camero could have actually done about this in the early game. But look at Necro already being poked out of the lane while Luna tries to stop them on their tracks for the time being. So far, so good. Both sides looking to be pretty much on the neutral state. So I guess it really goes down to when they're going to start battling as members of 5.
Ooh, XQ, super careful. You have to be so careful. And
炎のパンチだ。
fire punch on this Charmeleon.
火炎放水じゃないんだ。
So it's not gonna be the flamethrower that we've been seeing a lot in the past with the overpowered Charizard. This unfortunately got nerfed, not quite recently, but in the latest patch. So we'll see how Dev make this work. But oh, nice initiation from Rise, but no follow-up. A little bit too afraid. Both of these teams showing a lot of respect. But look at this, they managed to pick up a nice knockout there onto the Snorlax. And well, unfortunately, with this unevolved Serena, there's no way you're going to be able to hold off Lucario and Eldegoss.
Yeah, and I'm really looking at this Charizard, how it could basically impact team fights later on when he does have the Unite move available. So
Yeah, the seismic slam.
Yeah.
So one thing that used to
よか
make
育ってん
Charizard
ね
such a big
あれで
threat was that
全部っ
firstly
て
his Unite move charges really quickly. And before his nerf, he did a absurd
ルカは取ってくれん
amount
と。
of damage. So you've got that, you throw the seismic slam, and
でも難しいんだよな、それが。
can't outrun the Unite
むずい
Charizard. So I
Oh,
can
my
understand
lice.
the reason having to nerf him, but we'll see what happens. Maybe Renaissance prove us all wrong and say like, hey, Charizard.
アジンさんもオムライス食べてるの
you just
今
have
日。
to play him differently.
食べたよさっき
like Renaissance is doing everything as
オフ上もみんなオムライスだよ。
for the time
大人気じゃんオムライス
really have the opportunity to actually get the
みんな
score
卵だよ。
to at least get the
あ、結
knockout
構なん
here.
ちゃんとなりそうだな。
Have a smoother time of just climbing the charts and solo holding his own will be accompanied by Ruins and they will
いや、8レベ。
points 70 to 20 for the time being and oh heavy slam from Illuna can they actually get solo in time he's
うまいうまいうまいうまい。
going in for it and still
まだあるまだある。
out alive but not
8に届けば惜しい。
but
わあ惜しい
Solo
まあまあまあまあまあ
ドリドリドリドリドリ。
and they still have the Dodrio now coming in for a challenge
惜しい。
but Rubis is still
8届けば
Oh
な
my。goodness, the full heal coming in clutch there for Solo. So this is just the power of Lucario. It's such an elusive Pokemon that's very difficult to take down if you don't have enough catch. Yeah, it might not be as threatening, I suppose, as an Urshifu, but he's still
なんで結構8レベルな
わあ
の？
いいねニキ
job done. But unfortunately,
波乗りで事故った
on the side of Renaissance, they've actually lost Kamiru's Greninja, and now we're going to be seeing a turnaround here. We've got the Unite coming in from that Delphox seismic slam being thrown
魔法
down
ダメージ
by
出るけ
this
ど
Charizard. He's going to
いや
try and threaten the back line, but he's losing too much health, and his team, they're all reeling as well.
うえいいね
Unfortunately, just not healthy enough on Renaissance. So now Rise might be able to take this objective on their own. Beautiful heavy slam to go onto that loop.
なんでレイング部でこんな育ってるんだ？
They're so low, but they don't
よく勝ってきちゃった
enough to finish them off, and it looks like they're going to be able to take the objective for themselves. Renaissance end up winning that battle.
yeah and they just basically draw all the way to the back so that Rubis can still continue to give a little bit more heal for them to prepare for them to come back in and still managing to steal that away from Rise. Now here comes the counter engagement as well, but there's enough distance for them to just pull back and Dev get himself that free reign over top end to just score all the points he needs with 34.
Yeah, and I think this is also safeguard Blissey, so they're going to have access to the shielding that's also going to help with any kind of disables. So this is going to be an extra layer of difficulty for Rise to deal with because they can't reliably just say like, oh, you're stunned, we're going to be able to follow up. It's not going to be that easy anymore, especially when Blissey is nearby. Nice KO there from Axew to catch that Lucario, and now this bottom fight is going to be increasingly difficult here for Renaissance with just 2 Pokemon. It's both of the supporters as well. So far though, they've been pretty successful with this defense, and with Charizard here as well, they will try and send Illuna back. In the meantime, top lane, it's going to be a take on that Regieleki for Team Rise. So Kamiru is going to have to defend
あ、まあいいなで押せるぞ上は。
but so far the bottom fight didn't equate to much.
Yeah, I would say the same as well. Team Rise looking for those golden
聞いた。
opportunities at least to put some pointers in.
あ、怪しい。
They are slowly getting pinched out every single step of the way. Renaissance have been able to position in such a clear manner that they've always had this Eldegoss as well as Blissey to be in really optimal locations to really get them into securing not only
右側誰の経験値優先するんだろうプカ13優先かな逆は絶対経験値欲しいけど
あ、でもルカっぽい。
into that fight. Speaking of which, the Reggie is going to
どうだ？
appear in just a matter of seconds, and I'm going to
リ
see
ザが
what Renaissance
裏から
does
来て
this
る。
time around.
Right, let's see if we're
ただ
going
ボー
to
ル
see
で
a
割れる。
victory here for Rise. Queen's Ascendant actually going to be used on ice, but no, they aren't able to get that knockout. So that's going to be a Unite not available on the side of Rise. And looks like Mr. Mime going to jump into that Lucario. Looks like Lucario will be the first one to go down in this battle. But Renaissance, can they get a counter knockout themselves? Eldegoss too far into the fight. Going to be blown up by the Delphox. It looks like maybe this battle is going to go in favor of the Indonesian champions. Eluna super low in the back, but he's going to be looking for a heavy slam, maybe to try and catch that Charizard. Tries to blow them up with the Delphox, and they won't be able to get him. He's still okay. Lucario going to be coming back. Can he get the steal though? Oh, so far it's too healthy. They won't get it though. The objective going to Rise, and the Lucario will needlessly go down.
I just love the way that Team Rise handled that team fight, and they
the
are
triple
still going to
trample.
have AXQ just charging right in, and he will get that pick off against the Charizard. And my, the Indonesian champions are definitely showing up in that team fight, and especially now they did get themselves that Regirock, like with those extra stats, it will help them in the long run.
Now we've got the next objective spawning in that top lane. So Reggie and Lucky is ripe for the taking, and only Renaissance have access to their first.
ルカ13なれないな、これは。 どうするんやろ。半分削れた。
assuming Rise chase them back to the goal zone, but not needed. They quickly just shred Reggie and Lecky, take it for themselves, and now they can continue farming the rest of the map. But AXQ gonna be jumped on by the Charizard. Oh no! Couldn't make it over the wall there with that fire punch.
I really do like this adjustment coming from Team Rise. Now that when we look at Eeyore, we think that, oh, he's just going to be that one-trick dodger that's going to do it all. Instead, passing it over onto AXQ can do exactly the same. And that also allows him to play a Pokemon like a Velfox.
まあ新速で荒らした後リザ横からキャッチくらいでいけたらいいけど、ゲコが結局リソース残してるの絶対最後きついんだよな。倒しきるのがないから。ゴール守れてる分広く戦えるけど。13欲しいるか。ボンラから新速で削ってみたいな感じができりゃ最高なんだけど。
ピザードンが1位、1人で対応。
But both teams, they are prepped for this Rayquaza, but Eeyore is in the bottom lane. He's quite far, actually teleports back, so he's going to try and heal up and go to the fight. Dodrio, they're going to try and back there, but with death,
いいダメージ入るね。
especially with the flame.
次のこのパワーガットそれ。惜しい。でもでかすぎ。
He escapes, but luckily for Charizard, he did not use the Unite move, so both teams are going to be ready for this battle. But again,
いやこの状況できたらマジで右強い。引き体力2人削れててリコールするしかなくて。
わお、バリの思い切った反転。
やけリザードン。
リザードンがいい足出してる。
ちょい硬いな。14レベル結構だけど。綿がまだユナイトあんのか。綿ユナイトあんのでかっ。
Remember, Kamiru is on the Greninja. He is going to be supported here by the Eldegoss. They're going to try and go forward, hoping that the Unite will be able to get that pushback.
いやでも
いやいいよパーサー避けて。惜しい。
Now it's going to be in favor of Renaissance. Their position nicely.
取り切りも全然あるけどなこれ削れて。点差あるから防衛優先で。できたらマジででかい。でかい。守りきったね。
いや取り切ったぞ。取り切るんだこれ。
Oh my goodness, that was a very tense game, but it really came down to Kamiru.
リザテドド見れたんマジで熱いな。ドドユナなかったら左側一気に攻めんのむずいから、一気に攻めんと回復回ってしんどい勝負には絶対なるから。
And he's amazing at chase. I mean, we saw Eluna just getting shredded as the Snorlax.
And then it will really draw down to that
うまいことな、ドドユナで
Cameroon where Neko was
ハピとかワタとかそこら辺のユナイトから先に落とせたらよかったんだけど、
in by the very end of it
それを吐かせる担当がいなくなっちゃったから正面から入るしかなくて、
I think like
正面でぶつかった時に、結構ハッピーユナイト合わさっての待機力があったから決めきれずみたいな。リザーちゃんと生き残ってる左側。
リザなんかこっそり来てた。
こっそり。まあちょい右も軽く足りるか怪しかったけど、ギリのギリのギリのギリ。なあなあにできたらな、引く右側は削りもないからラッシュもしんどいし。
to push them and shove them towards Cameroon. Now, of course, when you're getting shoved, you're also stunned during the duration, which means free hits for him. He's going to get that free damage in. And so because Rise were so busy trying to juke this Eldegoss, Cameroon was like, hey, look, free basic attacks. Bam, bam, bam. And Rise just, oh man, they got outplayed in that end game.
And this first Charizard pick has also worked out for Team Red.
リザユナ上でアマに対して打ってそこから降りてのマホ倒しきったマジででかいな。マホ生きてたらな、全然ラッシュの判断も右、左かありはしたから削りがあって。
バリアードめっちゃいいんだったけどな。惜しいな。
おじい。
おじい。
Okay, but I kind of feel like if they picked anything else,
will be more effective.
It might have been more effective and easier to execute because it really wasn't an easy game for Charizard. One of the big reasons why you pick Charizard is you want that seismic slam. You seismic slam a ton.
ゴール上限残したから割とレベルきついかなとか思ったけど、意外になんとかなったな。ちゃんとゴール差って点数差使ってのそこからリソースめちゃめちゃ有利な交換できたし。
It was a really tough game. They made it work still, and I'm glad that we finally got to see Charizard, but I think it also sort of showcased the shortcomings of this Pokemon in general.
I would agree as well. The only time that it had a certain impact was the team fight right down onto the Reggie Rock contest, I do believe. So let's head over on to
またこれ直しないんかな。めちゃめちゃ妨害で一気に来ちゃった。
またボタンだったね。
バリユナヘビボーンドリクチみたいなかわいそうなシステムだ。
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was such a pain to deal with as well because Rise, in most cases, they weren't trying to focus the Lucario because he wasn't really the threat, right? The threat was Cameru, the threat was also the Charizard, and they ideally wanted to deal with those two Pokemon. Heck, even the supporters, I think, are higher priority targets because you want to also eliminate the regeneration. Lucario is more of that backline diver that's also very difficult to catch and can deal out free damage. So, yeah, I want to try and justify Charizard so much. It's just that I think this Pokemon is in such a weird place now.
Yeah, like I still didn't feel like it's the most effective pick overall. So hoping to see if there's gonna be another different stance on how Renaissance can actually pull it up again.
I'm looking at this here. Maybe the fact that they had Charizard could have been game defining because they also actually caught out Eeyore with that. Not he didn't use it with he didn't catch him with the seismic slam per se, but the boosted flying Charizard. He was really able to cut down into Delphox there. I'm not sure. I've got so many mixed feelings. I love Charizard. I think this was a fantastic Pokemon at some point. It's just he's really strange now.
Yeah, he has definitely lost some of the strengths that he used to have. But I still think that in the right circumstances, it is still very much playable.
They made it work in this game. So I think there's always a situation for every Pokemon to get picked. But after that first game though, and especially for people that are cheering for Rise, you gotta think, going into this next game, is there anything that Rise can pull out to bring this to a game number 3 because Renaissance, they've only played one game in the tournament, but it's been a 2-0.
Yeah, and when we look at Team Rise's performance on the past game, they really did have some really good team fights. So
great team fights, and I liked their adaptation, right? Because last time it was Eeyore only on the Dodrio, now he's playing Delphox. I like seeing this level of variation because now it's like Renaissance, I'm not going to be able to just sit there and guess who's playing what.
Yeah, and like even if they let her to pick, I really want to see if they're going to allow Eeyore to be the one to be on that Pokemon instead this time around, so that we could have perhaps AXQ going for some other picks instead.
Maybe. I think it really just depends on a case-by-case basis. Like, what do they really prioritize? Because I will have to say that the last game, it was very reminiscent of their last Dodrio games, because AXQ was the only one scoring. No one else was able to score. And it just makes me wonder, like, is this a team thing? Because clearly it's a trend where only one person's scoring on the side of Rise. We're not really seeing a lot of stacking. We're not seeing...
ミュウとか取りたくなるけどな、これ。
確かにさっきもサイクグラスだったのにミュウ出てこなかった。
The Dodrio, you know, not AXQ, not Eos.
ハピハピ相手。よう刺さりそう。よう当たるからな。ああ、
this arena on their side after losing that Blizzard pick towards Team Rise, and essentially
敵の取りたそうなキャリー枠先に潰して。
something else. We're getting to the Delphox on hand, so
yeah.
I wonder if this is going to be a case. Like, what else do they pair it with? They say, okay, yeah, go ahead, we'll take your Lucario.
They're also going to go for the Cramorant as well. This is pretty interesting. We've seen this funny little bird a couple times, and I mean, it's done some pretty interesting things.
それっぽいやつらいっぱい取って、中央の1枠で最後、高校はカウンターしようと。
おっとはは、リスまだ出てきたよ。
リスしんどそうだけどいけるかな。
パ
アッパカッターまではある。ないか。
いや、軽石だからどうだ。
まあ影縫いはリス以外には刺さりそう。
どうだろうこれ。
リスアマに張り付かれた時にハッピーで守ってアリューできるかどうか怪しいけど。レイは強いからな。カビウルカ。しっかりルカの5レベとかの完成を遅くして。
He wants whatever that Decidueye is wearing. Oh, you better watch out. Oh my! If that's going to be the case, like, we hope that this Blissey would have just about enough to keep Decidueye alive most of the time. So, would that?
アマリスをさばききれるかよな結局。ジュナイパー、ハピナス、ハピコン。
いなせたら勝ちだ本当に。ジュナイパー暴れる。
That's quite true. They don't really have the best way to deal with that Greenham pick, and especially, actually, Decidueye can kind of do it, right? He has the ability to possibly burst it down, but of course, if Greenham gets on top of Eeyore, you know, if Cameru just like
右側点数より欲しいな。敵から攻めてきてハピとかでカウンターしてウジュナのダメージで落としきるとかだったら割とやりやすいけど、自分から攻めるようになった時に前目出た時に横からリスとかアマとか来たら絶対しんどいから、序盤からしっかりルカとかのパワー使って押せなきゃちょっとしんどそう。
We are going to jump into the game here, so let's go Contra.
Yeah, and I'm also looking at this current composition. Team Rise will really have to play more around those team fights as well as compared to the Dojo strats that they did have in the past game. So therefore, I think this is what they have identified. Where in game 1, they did excel in those team fights. They did manage to get those objectives done. So both teams equally starting off with 4 pointers here. Immediately going straight for the work.
ワンチャン残ってたら狙いに行くのか。いいねこれ。
無駄ないね今の動き。睨み合ってもしょうがないし、近い取りに行ってのワンチャン。
Rise was anticipating a potential steal, so great rotation. Although
猫だまし
missing a KO,
惜しい、1残った。
will
おい、
go
ナイスタイ
down.
当た
So
り。
Cameroon gonna get that final hit.
が攻めたい
Crucial
あたり
bit
で
of experience, but is he
いや
going to
木の実がいっぱいあるそこ。
KO'd?
おい、残ってないボタン偉い。
Even use the eject button E or fully committed for the knockout.
Yeah, I felt like he really have to teach him a lesson over on that corner. So Cameroon down, they will have a lot more room for this Altaria, and they will secure those EXP. But Illuna though, not so tanky after all in this early game. Solo's gonna be able to dish out just about enough. Ruvis scores a 12-pointer. All Necro can only sit back and just try to hold them off.
Yeah, Necro also pretty unfortunate with the power-up punch there. Wasn't able to get that damage onto the Serena. If he got it, maybe he could have gotten the knockout himself. But I mean, Necro's doing what he's supposed to do. He's just sitting up there, stacking, leveling up. Although Ice might be punished for this. Might be okay for now. Cameroon though has fully evolved into that greed, and so he's gonna start being a pain.
Yeah, but for the time being, they have not been able to stop this Disojai. We're slowly sitting.
最近でリサ張り付くんか
He intends to be at now level 7. They eventually have to deal with the situation. Oh, that was.
アマジは早い今回できるの
Was that a Snorlax? I was gonna say, was that a Snorlax? He lost his health so quickly.
Yeah.
やっぱ影る痛いこれは痛いチュンチュンチュン
いいダメージ入っとるね。先に1回ダメージしっかり交換できたらな、ごぼうもなくなるし、その後の押し込み見やすくなる。
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be that dive Cramoran on the side of Rise. I actually think he can applying quite a lot of pressure here onto Renaissance.
両方3周目ファームだ。
This is happening.
8レベと9レベ。
Decidueye is farming, right? This is the thing that you really want when you run that Decidueye. This is a very experienced.
下5にするんだこれとか下ろして。
And if you're able to give him that very smooth early game, that's what you're looking for. And they
うわ
immediately remove.
うわ孫ひな上がってる
熱い熱い熱い熱い。
逃げろジャイパー
あ惜しい。あ惜しい。
ジャイパーもう押し返す
Just enough by the skin of his
19パー
will survive, and they were able to get a counter knockout in the
魔法が消え
process.
た。
Aldogos went down.
あんま降りてきてんじゃん。
And looks like it might just be a
水火は影縫いが強いけど、ワンチャンポコポコ踏みつけ。ふん。惜しい。取ってるわ。ちゃんと取ってるわ。アマージョリス削りいいね。
own life, but he will be knocked out instead. Great work from Renaissance to reset, and the timers were just perfectly done for them, and Team Rise have overcommitted in that battle itself, which see them falter after committing into every single Unite move. Eeyore still surviving the burst, and he won't be
can't afford to go down.
No.
He just went down. Oh my gosh, was that a misclick? He actually targeted the bottom. Eeyore, oh my
序盤押されたらさすがに左の方強く見えるな。
Central lane Decidueye, and that's a free Regieleki. I think in that moment he definitely panicked.
リスが多いどこ
いやでかいですね。
まで
ウーいなかったら上押し込みあるぞ。そうだ。
うだけ
こういう名で
いやでもいないと結構ある
あウー間に合いそう。上が見たい、上が見たい。燃えてるけど、上の横から間に合って、ちょい火力足りんかマジフリック当たった。
足りない
いやー、
Oh my goodness, and the
Pretty nice.
Reggie as well.
Pretty nice.
Rise are starting to crumble. I mean, this is not even the start. They've been crumbling.
ハピューナスカーじゃなかったのか今。ハピとウーナイトあったけど。
50-point lead on the side of Renaissance, and they're even going to clear this central area on the side of Rise, but they're even going to continue this assault. They will try and push Cameroon onto that speed flux, but does it really matter? It's a Greedent.
ユナ残った分、ここはしっかり勝ち切っていきたい。リスが硬い。時間を稼ぐな。さすがにね。
まあまあまあまあまあまあ。
まあこういうのもう一回上がってる。水不利だし、他がちょい攻めてきたら変で、バリマホで一気にいけたら。最近やばい。いや、ちょい欲しい。
全然回復しないマ
あ、でも
コの
10年死んでる。アマージョ様。
position. He's the only real frontliner on the
アマンド様
side. The Sigil has already been down, so where it's going to be a 3 versus
ね、アマに対して強いのが相手いないから
そ
そんなに
こ
これ暴れて
天の独壇場になったら最近のバリも楽しそう。一緒に暴れてもらって。
They're just gonna go dunking all together. Nothing that this Snorlax can do to stop them from scoring for the time being. 300 points already, and they are gonna prepare for the upcoming.
バリヤマの並び楽しそうだな。
So for the moment, I think like
ハビナスよりも
just got to fall
多
back
分
for
よ
a
り
little
敵
bit.
を捕まえる性能に
Set
受けてるから KO を取りやすそうでそのままつなぎやすそう。
before they go for another engagement.
Yeah.
Now going for the defense though. What can do?
Oh boy,
頭入った。
man. Fanciful Fireworks. Blissey is down. They're gonna lose Aluna as well. Eeyore showing
yeah.
his face. He even uses the Unite. That's not the
リス
time.
いいね。
That's not the time. They're gonna use the Gatling gun as well. They've
これ
managed to
全
get
然
two
魔法
jump
勝てそう。
pad stuns, but no KOs. They use so many resources, but look at this. There's just no damage being
カ
done.
ビ
to
ゴンが帰ってきたら
Renaissance.
さすがに
And
出しきれなさそう。
Renaissance is slowly running away with the game. It's already 385 points.
ダメージ稼ぐね。
without the Rayquaza. And
Look at Karen.
Rise.
It's just
They're just doing everything just to hold their fortress, but there is just no opportunities for them to even shove the rest of the Renaissance
まあ
side.
下攻めて
Overall,
渡湯な使わ
this
せ
is
た
not
から
really a good look. They
今のうちに
can't
強気に当たりできる
even
ユナイトも右ないか。
at this point in time.
I mean, they don't have a choice now. They have to win this Rayquaza fight to even have a chance at coming back. They're already down by like over
まあ
350
柔軟の
points.
削りでサ
They
クッ
need
と
to
処理して
somehow score. If you
え
want to see
14-14しんどいな
you would have
魔
to
法はま
score a full
これはしん
on
どい。
every single
魔法に
player on
対
their
し
team
て
because you
魔法
know
じゃない
if
アマ
Rise
点差もすごいから
Rise managed to get the Rayquaza, he is
アマ落とせるかこの構成で
100% back cap.
Exactly so, and we're already looking at Team
右
Rise
から攻めなきゃいけない状況がガチできつい。
throughout the
あいいねもう抜けいっぱい抜けいっぱい抜けよう。いっ
と
ぱい抜け
りあえず抜けよ
てワンチャンスろ。
うとりあえず抜けよ
Oh, look at
抜
this.
け通ったら熱い。
カビゴンがカバーに行くわ。
助けてカビゴン。
Need to. He's cancelled the scoring there.
いいよカビゴン。
Sidgewai, they
プラバ
tried
切っ
to
た
score a
でも
free 100. Oh man, everything.
真ん中集まっても右絶対勝てんからな。うまいこと陣形崩してからのワンチャンで。
They have to
やばい
win.
う
The
わー
Ah.
消え
can't even do so now that they do
ジュナ消えたらもう無理だから
Pokemon being removed. They
ッシュだけ警戒しながら時間稼いで ワンのチャン。
だいぶしてる。この2枚で硬いこう落とせないぞ。っていうな。もうやるしかないぞと。
派閥は花粉団子勝ていいね。別に攻め切る必要はないからいなしながらでジュナとかまで届きそうだったら一気に入るくらいで。
Like, look at Camera, he just runs in, runs out, and he's back to full health. Like, Snorlax,
Oh
he
my
does get
goodness.
himself that double heavy slam.
Oh,
And
look at
look
that.
at what Team Rise is doing. They're just
深
extending
めに
all
ね
the way
ジュナ
out.
追いかけてきたら
Just
結局横が
Renaissance
あんま
doesn't
来ちゃうから
extend their points, and they will still get their hands on Blissey.
Yeah, they do get the
うジュナ
knock
い
on
い
the
ダメージ
back
入って
lines,
そう
but
だ
I
け
just
ど
don't think it matters
硬い
at this point. Eeyore does
硬
not
い
do enough damage to threaten Renaissance. They're just so tanky, so strong. And watch this. What's
Okay, okay.
He's going.
Eeyore,
He's going.
you gotta get out of there.
Eeyore just.
It's not worth it,
There's
Eeyore.
no way.
Run!
Oh my goodness. I think he
Wow.
just gets back to base, but it's just they're so tanky. They are so resilient no matter what Rise does. Renaissance lives through
アマ
it
がきつい
all.
な。
And Renaissance will secure it through the countdown
いや
timer.
強かったですね。
And will be
強かったですね。
given 3 points in the series.
解説のホバチさんどこが勝因だったと言えますでしょうか。
Renaissance,
言えますかね。
at this point, they just-
まあピック段階でアマに対して、
Team is scary.
何かできるかって言われたら
This team is terrifying.
ウーがアロキューとかだったらもっと変わったかもしれないし、
ああなるほど。
いやとにかくアマ暴れやすい、やりやすいねこれ。
はいはいはいはい。アマージョのカウンターはどういうポケモンがいるんですかね。9コン。
9コン、まあ CC
はいはいはいはい。
だったり、命令も殴り合えるガブとかね。
はいはい。
バンギも
硬い系
良
か
かったし、
硬い系か妨害で止めて倒せる系か。
か
そうね、敵の構成、リスだったり、アマだったり、そんなに硬くはないからね、前衛が。そこからしっかり妨害とかで殴り合ったりして一気に落としきれてからができればよかったんだけど。
リスとか見えてるのにジュナイパーをピックしてよかったのかな、これは。
ちょっと難しさありそうだよね、とかしきるの。まあそれこそ前が柔らかいからこそ、フォークで削ってから回収とか見れたらいいっちゃいいんだけど、結局点数不利になった時に攻めにうまいことユナイトを使いづらい構成だから、ウーだったりジュナだったり、ここら辺が間違いなく難しそうだった。
やっぱハピナスって難しいな。ハピ取ったけど入ってく味方がいないから。
そう守りには使える構成なんだけど、こういう時のハピ点数不利せよるとマジで弱いね。さっきのルカみたいな感じで合わせたとしても言うて、ルカは一気にそんなダメージ出るわけでもないから、敵のレベル差があるとむずなる。
むずなる、これは。アマの完成も早かったもんな。うまいことアママホの重いやつらをルカとかウーとかカビで一気に抑えられて、逆にスノーボールの展開作れるんだったらね、間違いなくやりやすかったけど。 これでリス勝率 100% だ、今のとこ。
最強じゃん。
ピッピを抜かした。
つまりピッピとリスを同時に使えば勝率 100%。勝てます。
いや、今回は初登場多くて面白かったな。
ね、リス割と面白いポケモンだから使い方全然見られててよかったな。見てて楽しかった。
So this was a tough opponent, and I am glad to see Rise trying out different things. But I am curious if this was a different team, how much more differently would this?
これでもう全試合終わりだっけ？
これ終わり。
はい。
だよね。レイさん倒したもんね。
多分そう。2勝したはず。
味出し知ってる？今のクリアファイルって、絵が変わるんだよ。前から
今のクリアファイル？
クリアファイルの絵が変わるんだよ。
角度によってってこと？
そう。
あれ、
アジンさんの時もあった？
あった。
あれ
小学生ぐらいの頃からそのギミックはあった気がする。
あれ
角度で変わる下敷きとか。
すげえ、新しいって言ってたのに、俺最初に。
あった、全然あった。俺が小学校入る前ぐらいからなんならあった気がする。全然あります。角度で見た目が変わるやつは。
あ、結構前からあったんだ。
ちゃんとあります。
すげえ、今のクリアファイル絵変わるんだとずっと言ってたのに。10年前以上からあったんや、これ。
全然あるね。10年、15年。なんなら20年。
I am hopeful for this team because I still see the potential in this Indonesian squad. They are the champions of Indonesia. That this is going to be a big learning experience for them. And I think especially after this week, they're probably going to go back and watch through not just their own VODs, but probably the previous games of today to try and think like, okay, what can we learn from the teams this week and how can we better ourselves for our next matchup?
Yeah, and I do admire the efforts on this form of changes that they did bring into this week itself, where we see AXE to actually bring something different to the table. He was the one playing the Dodrio instead of Eeyore on the very first game. It was still relatively effective, and then on the second game itself, like we have the Sidra on Eeyore, which was also a very refreshing take on how they have approached the game, wanting to build into a more team fight heavy playstyle, but of course they were kind of outmatched in terms of the draft itself in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, we can also maybe say to a certain degree Renaissance might be just a step above Rise, like just 1 or 2 notches too high. And sometimes when you're just playing up against a team that is mechanically just better, there's not really much you're going to be able to do outside of just try and be better yourselves. And that doesn't come easily, you know? It's not just like 1 week of practice and you're suddenly going to be a better player. There's a lot involved when it comes to like practicing, when it comes to scrimming, researching, VOD analysis. But again, I think we kind of also have to mention the dominance of Greedent today. I think this is definitely Greedent week, and we've got Cameru on the screen here. I mean, what do we say? I think we've seen Cameru just outperform himself every time we see him.
That's right, and like I believe we've seen some of this trivia before, and if you guys tune in for the first time, like Cameru absolutely does get tilted just like us from trolls in solo. So don't worry, you're not the only one. And Pokemon Unite is his second competitive title, and it's great to see him thrive.
Yeah.
Every single title that he plays, he does it so well.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably an advantage to him because the fact that you've played a similar style of game before, you're going to have experience in certain areas where others might not, especially if Pokemon Unite is their first encounter of the MOBA genre. Now, I know Pokemon Unite isn't the same as the normal classic genre setting, but there are a lot of mechanics that are more or less the same. So I think for Cameru, we know this guy is super experienced. We know that he can make some really crazy plays happen, and he did it today. You know, in game 1, he was able to really carry his team at that Rayquaza pit fight, and then of course he had the green play in the second game where he was just doing things.
Now that we're on this green topic, right?
Yes.
Now that you think about it, it has been picked 3 times, and it is at 100% win rate.
So far,
Let that
yes.
sink in. Let's digest that.
Okay.
So,
But there's a but. I kind of want to, let me be the bad guy. There's going to be a but, right? And the but for this is that I want to say the 2 strongest teams in the region pulled out this Greedent. So I think it does kind of sway the win rate for this Pokemon. But I am curious, like in an equal matchup setting, like how would Greedent play?
卵配信ありますか？卵配信はしませんもん。
First week of Greedent's
あんなゲームはもう
appearance,
しない
very rarely see this Pokemon at all, whether it be in competitive play or even in your regular pubs.
今日練習なしだっけ？
I'm not expecting a Greedent.
that's true. And like on the very final week of SEA, I wonder if these 2 teams
They're gonna fight
なんか
over
ありません。
Maybe.
みんな外でご飯食べてます。
Fun to see how the drafting phase will look like for some of these teams.
Or they could counter the Greedent.
I hope that we actually get the answers.
Well, okay, no.
Some
Because
teams have not gotten that on the bag.
I don't know if they'll tell us because I feel like that's leaking strats. But what we can leak is the updated score table, so we can see where the teams are currently sitting in terms of the seeding ranking. Now, so far we already saw MYS occupy first place with 9 points. After that victory for Renaissance, however, they are now comfy in that second place with 6 points, and with 2 more series to go, there's a potential for this team to get another 6, but one of the matches is going to be rather difficult, and it will be the one against MYS. But that matchup is not going to be for another 2 weeks, but I am keen to see Renaissance play next week.
Yeah, and overall, we talk about Renaissance, they have the smoothest journey so far in terms of their clean track record of 2-0. If they did get those wins, and if they challenge Team MOS, they are definitely on that upwards trajectory of a track to eventually get to number 1 if they really need to. But of course, despite that, we are also looking at all the other teams like Escape 5, Secret Rare, as well as Rise. Very unfortunate for our Team Rise, they did pull their level best, but for now they only have 1 point, and that ties them alongside with Secret Rare in terms of position. Escape 5 now in the middle of the pack is where they really have to differentiate themselves. Are they on the upper echelon, or actually will they falter even further on the brackets?
Well, who knows, right? It really comes down to these next upcoming matches for some of these teams. It'll be a pretty difficult climb for Rise and Secret Rare, because for them to overtake Escape 5, you're kind of banking on them getting 0 points this next week, and then either of these teams getting a 2-1 or 2-0 win to tie for that 3rd seeding. Because remember, folks, these teams are currently playing for seeding. the seeding is going to determine where they'll be for the
MY
next phase of the
Zoom, hi.
tournament. The first seeded team automatically
Yes.
qualifies for the LAN, whereas the second, third, fourth, and fifth will need to play against each other to qualify for that second spot. So there's a lot on the line for these teams. Of course, first seed's the most important, but I feel like that second seed is going to be the most highly contested seeding.
That's right. Like overall, like this competition has gone to this point where we're finally starting to have a clearer picture of who's slowly getting there and who is definitely fighting really hard for those available spots in order to qualify for the Asia Champions League Grand Finals that's happening in Malaysia. Speaking of which, of course, you guys can also look into booking those tickets. That's going to be happening pretty soon in March.
Yosh.
The LAN final is going to be in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So if you're thinking about a holiday here, maybe come down and watch the tournament. But of course, speaking of the LAN, we're going to be speaking to one of the players on the side of Renaissance, and it's going to be none other than Cameroon himself, the greedent of greedents. Hello, Cameroon.
Oh shit, what do you realize? No! What do you think he had? Wait, I cannot hear them though.
Oh no.
Oh,
Am
Hi.
I supposed to hear them? Hello? I cannot hear.
Alright, hang on, we'll try and get this
Hello.
sorted.
Sorry, we can't really hear technical difficulties.
It's all good, we'll get it sorted.
Don't worry, we give you as much time as you need. But of course, while they're at it, like the matches here, we've seen so many interesting picks, like Charizard on the very first game. I think like we definitely would want to touch on that as well.
ゲーミングハウスといいですかこのチームは。
いや神田さんとかそこら辺ね。
やっぱあれか WCS ロンドン行った人はとこは違うね。
一つの家に集まりがち。WCS 行ったチーム。
Hello.
Hi.
通称公民館と呼ばれている。
そう。我らもゲーミングハウス持ってるからね。
まだ行ったことね。あれさんも行ったよね。
もう全然行った。全然行ってる。
何回も行ってるの？
何回も行ってる。
あれ？
おわさま早く引っ越してきて。
引っ越すの？
関東。
関東寒いよ。
寒いわ、マジで寒い。これはあるわ、確かに。
あと高いよ。
We were actually struggling a bit before we actually settled on a comp. And Charizard was one of the picks that we wanted to try. And it worked okay for us, but I rather say it's a pocket pick rather than a pick that we wanted to draft for it. So, yeah, so it was one of Dev's Pokemon that he really wanted to play, I guess. So we just let him play it.
Take that off of the bucket list and like maybe never see it again.
Oh no. Oh no, it's not going to be in the same position as Dragapult, is it?
I think they are both in the gutter now.
Oh no.
Oh, that's kind of sad to hear. But I love that you guys are very willing to explore options and all of that. Like, I'm
みんな半袖だ。大丈夫か？半袖で生きていけるか？あったかいんか？東南アジアは。そういうわけじゃない。
Actually, it's not just because of that, but that's one of the reasons. Because NYS has always explored with Breeden, and we always felt that
ここシンガポール？
have a backline that
シンガポールのとここれ。
rather uncontested is quite hard. So when they drafted Breeden, it's very hard for the backline to play. Then it makes it more of a 4v4 instead.
Yeah.
And once you draft like properly, that your 4v4 can win, then I think Breeden is a very good pick. And I was quite surprised that they went Desi last pick.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting one. I kind of want to hear your thoughts about Rise's draft. Like, why do you think they actually went for the Decidueye? Because it felt counterintuitive, especially going into Greedent.
Oh,
did they just need damage? Because I kind of felt like it.
I honestly, if I was in the shoes, I would never play Desi. Right? I would go for another frontline because there's a Greedent. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but yeah, it's something weird, I guess.
yeah. Are we going to maybe see some other crazy picks here from Renaissance? Because we've seen some pretty wacky things from you guys so far.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's all we need to hear, and I'm really happy to know that we're gonna get more surprises if that's going to be the case. So, Danny, any more questions?
All right, I guess the last question I have, I know it's going to be 2 weeks from now, but you guys are going to be playing up against MYS in the final week of the first phase. I want to know how you guys are feeling before going. I know it's very early, but how do you feel about MYS so far after seeing their games?
They are definitely very strong. Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay.
Wow. Is that some smack talk we're hearing?
Well, they did wish them all the best, and I'm pretty sure that that was.
シンガポール今気温25度だっ
Thank
て
you so much, Cameron, for joining us for this interview, and of
暑い
course, we wish you all the best throughout the
ちょうどいいの
journey
か
here in the Asia Champions League.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Take care. See you next week.
Thank you.
Man, I love talking to Renaissance.
お風呂はさすがに寒い
They
か
are such a cool bunch of guys. They're just so chill. They're,
Mhm.
you know, some interviews you get players that are very, very stiff. Maybe they're shy, but you know, Cameron, he's just like,
Yeah, he's always warm, lovely, and like
yeah,
very
yeah, they're
straightforward
wonderful.
answers. Yes, we're going to show you more and more of all these secret picks, and yes, there will definitely be a lot more exciting rounds coming in from Renaissance. So we do look forward to that, and I'm pretty sure the fans will be too.
Yes, it's going to be pretty exciting. But to everyone that is watching the broadcast, thank you so much for joining us. We do want to remind you, if you haven't already, we currently have a Twitch giveaway happening for the entirety of the broadcast. It's not just for today, it's not just for this week, it's for the entirety of the show. All you have to do is register your Twitch account onto Stream Elements. Once you're registered, you're going to start redeeming points just from watching the stream on Twitch. Once you've got enough points, you're going to be able to redeem one of our amazing rewards that's currently on the screen. So we've got some amazing folders, we've got booster packs, and we also have these card tins, and of course we've got the Pikachu keychains. We've got the tins on the screen right now. So if you claim the tin, not only do you get the tin, but you also get 3 booster packs inside, and they also come with a coin. Each side has a different Pokemon. The top one here, I believe, is the Dark type. Hang on. This one is Shadowy Darkness type. This is the Scorching Fire type. And the last one is the Fierce Fighting type tin. So these are the amazing tins. Contra?
And if that's not enough, I have another 2 booster packs alongside with the Galarian, Zapdos, Articuno, as well as Moltres.
いいな、グッ
Want to
ズ
get your hands on this edition because it's all foiled. I mean, like, it looks
Hey,
beautiful.
it's not
何が
just
入ってるのか
Sir Fetch on board.
Look, it's not just the 3
誰か言葉わかるかこれ
Galarian birds. You also have the 2 booster packs that come with it. And then
Yeah.
again, it's RNG. You don't know what's in those booster packs. And of course, Contra, the folders. Okay? Don't underestimate these folders. These are great foil folders. They have 2 different styles. On one side, you've got the hollow
Jun
and then
Jun.
if you flip it, you're going to have the standard Pokemon picture. We've got Wigglytuff, we've got Cinderace, we have Lucario, we have Snorlax, Pikachu, and Zero.
これこれこれこれこれこれ
So if you don't qualify for a tin or the booster packs, we do suggest
get
you
something.
try and get one of these. These are great. I mean, you've even got the back. The back looks great. So yeah, don't
テクノロジー
on any of these
テクノロジー
rewards.
ファイル
Registering and trying to win anything, claim whatever you can. You won't regret it. You really won't.
That's right. And with that being said, of course, there are still many of all these opportunities for you guys to get your hands on all of this.
Yes.
And also, if you may have missed out a game or 2, don't worry. If you want your updates, head over to this website and you will be filled with every
何このサイト見ればもらえるの
So even if you really want to look at stats, tournament dates, and who's playing next, all is here on the website. Just go ahead, visit it, bookmark it, like what Danley always mentions.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely like to see you on board for the next broadcast of the Pokemon Unite Asian Champions Leagues, Southeast Asia, and also other regions as well.
Yes, speaking of the next region, tomorrow is going to be India on the exact same stream. So if you come back at the exact same time, we promise you guys are going to have some amazing games from that region. But my name's Danielle, his name is Contra. Thank you for joining me as my amazing co-caster, as always, Contra.
Pleasure is mine.
But to all our Pokemon trainers out there, thank you for watching. We will see you next week for East Asia and Southeast Asia. But if you come back for India, we've got our amazing Indian casters. Thank you, trainers. We will see you next time.
終わりました。よいしょ。終わりました、13。
お疲れ様でした。今日もいいものが見れましたね。
今日も面白かったです。よし。お疲れ様。あれは、じゅんさん喋ってる？
喋ってない。
それってなかった。ずっと緑の下着ピコピコしてたから。
なんか俺の緑結構ピョコピョコしがちなんだよね、黙ってる時。許してやってくれ。元気なんだ今。
おお、ずっとリスが映ってる。終わったー。よし、終わるか。
オッケー。
お疲れー。
お疲れー。また明日。
また明日。よし、終わった。配信もお疲れ様かな。練習ないからやることないじゃん。卵はやめて。卵はごめん。それだけはごめん。オムライス。動画はでもね、撮るかと思って結局タバコ吸っとったらもうウォッチパーティーの時間やったわ。やる気が出てこん。気持ちだけだ。わわわわわわわわ。よし。気が乗ったらね。いいな、みんな。ジンペンさんのコーヒー飲みたかったな。感想聞こう。でさ、コバッチあんま喋る人じゃないよ。ジンペンさんに出張してもらおうか。ついでにホバチのお部屋も掃除してもらおう。 あ、終わった。よし、あるか。お部屋。お部屋です。掃除なんかできるかい。お風呂も入ってられるかい。洗濯もしてられるかい。ごめんなさい。おばちばっちーはごめんよ。ごめんみんな。前風呂入ったのいつかな。いつ入ったっけ。いや多分2週間以内には入った気はするんだよな。どんくらいだっけな。1週間入ったっけ。いや記憶にねえな。いつ入ったっけ。覚えてないや。まあそれはどうでもよくて、そうなんよ。エコエコ無職だからね。しゃあねえしゃあねえ。エコです。でシャワー浴びながらタバコ吸えないじゃん風呂って。何が楽しいんあれ。何がおもろいんやろあれは。もうあと髪乾かすのめんどくさいじゃん。そうめんどくせえ。めんどくさいんだよ。とても大丈夫大丈夫。ちゃんと ASC の時はちゃんと入ってるから大丈夫よ。大丈夫。人触る時は入ってるから大丈夫よ。そこだけは安心して。そこだけは任して大丈夫。そこだけはねもう大丈夫だから。人と会う時だけはもうちゃんと入ってるから。そこだけはね大丈夫。 美容室もね、ほやちゃん半年以上行ってないべ、今、多分。めんどくせえからな。今自分ではねできるけどさ、買いに行くのめんどいし。あ、ちょっと待って、どうしよう。とりあえず暇だからユナイトをやるか。ユナイトをしながら喋ろう。喋るのであれば、これはもう運営から許可を得てやってることだから一回閉めた方がいいな。さすがに長引いてもあれだから、とりあえず一回枠を作り直そう。枠を変えて種マシンガンをやりながらディスでも触りながらやるか。ということで一旦枠を切り替えます。よし、ではお疲れ様でした。一旦また 1,2 分後会いましょう。まだね。ありがとう。バイバイ。あじゅんさんは特にありがとう。一人で見ずに済んだよ。あじゅんに感謝。ではまたね。